Your brain's broken or something.
Hello.
Well, looks like the audio's working just fine.
Alright, nice.
Yeah, so you mentioned something about using a recorder of yourself?
Yeah, I got that around the last time that we did this to make sure that, well, it wouldn't happen again, so that we'd be recording on both ends, and I never really got a chance to use it until about 2 minutes ago, so I tried it, and it seems to work pretty well.
Cool. Yeah, apparently Malta wasn't, registered with Skype work last time. I managed to keep it up to date now, and it looks like it's working just fine.
Nice.
Yeah, although I'm not sure if Brain Scratch is going to die entirely, because allegedly, from what Johnny was saying during the Super Mario Galaxy playthrough, he actually took everyone's audio files, brought them into his laptop, edited it, synced it all up, and then exported it. I'm like, holy shit, he must have a lot of free time on his hands.
They could do that, or they could also take the alternative route of Google's own live stream service.
Well,
which
live stream
you can...
is good, yeah, but I'm not sure about that.
Well, if they're watching the video all in sync anyways, and all they need is the audio, they can do that. Just sync the audio of all of them from the live stream talking together to them that watching the video.
Yeah, true. Am I the only one who finds it crazy that they got Chuck Conroy on there because he's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but Brain Scratch has only 40,000?
They do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, seriously, go check it out. It's crazy. I was like, what the fuck do you mean they got Chugga Conroy on there? I thought only one does high profile shit. No. Oh, it's weird because they haven't entirely jumped ship to Brain Scratch yet. I don't know. Apparently he's not advertising it well enough.
Well, wait, is he only on there for one thing, or is he on there permanently now?
Only one thing, because it was Mario Galaxy, and you know he does everything Nintendo related. I feel bad for him though, if he lost his revenue from Nintendo. Shit.
Did they still continue that, or did they revoke that?
They revoked it. Probably for the better, because otherwise it would deter everyone from ever doing Let's Plays of it, even though, let's face it, if you're doing this only for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, really.
Yeah. You want to give and get as much entertainment as possible.
You want to focus more on entertainment first, and then worry about, making any sort of revenue. Me, I know I'm probably not going to make any money for a long time off of this, so, if any, if I even decide to, I don't know.
Are your videos monetized?
No.
The way YouTube works, actually, is that they don't send you anything at all until you've made at least $20 worth of ads. So even if you have all your stuff monetized, they will not send you anything until you make at least that much.
Well, looks like it's time for me to start making some Call of Duty videos. Yay!
I beg of you don't. I mean, I know you're joking, but I beg of you don't anyway.
I'm glad you know I'm joking.
Ugh.
Alright, let me see before I put this file. I had it all saved inside of Microsoft Word file somewhere. By the way, we're recording right now, so we can just start talking. We can just start this shit whenever. Unless I'm going to keep this in anyway. I don't know.
I would advise against that to put some cut to where we start a little later.
Nah, I think we're just gonna keep it right now.
Alright.
It's just trivial. It's just trivial shit. Anyway, so for everyone who's actually watching this shit right now, well, first of all, if this could be a legitimate podcast, I don't know what it's gonna be called. I was thinking the Weeaboo Chronicles, but I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, just keep it title pending for the time being.
Well, hold on. Are you talking about a title for this individual video, or for a possible series?
Possible series. Or just just bring in random people I know in real life for random sit-down Skype podcasts. By the way, Josh has a fucking laptop now. I'm surprised about that.
About damn time.
Yeah, right? Well, it is kind of a shittier laptop. It's fucking 2004, 2005, Windows XP. I'm like, Windows XP's not that bad.
You know, the laptop I was bringing to school was actually made in the year 2004. The only reason I was able to get it to get Windows 7 is because my Linux professor... What?
Did you upgrade the RAM or something?
Yeah, it only had 200 and some odd megabytes before. I upgraded it to its top output of 2 gigabytes, and my Linux professor was able to give me the proper form of Windows 7, so that it only took up 10 gigs. instead of the 40 gigs it took up with what was already on there with what my friend gave me.
Yeah, you're really not gonna get anywhere with that soon.
Yeah.
Fuck that noise. So, what do you think going around here? I think I'm gonna pick up No More Heroes because it's a Wii game, and the Wii games are kind of just dying out. So I think that's a good time to go get it.
Nice.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I think we should just save random bullshit for later after we're done with the topic at hand.
Yeah.
All right. So, for the reason of this podcast, sort of, I brought up the question, and I was originally gonna do it solo, but then I realized I can just talk with Brandon and discuss it over Skype. So why the hell not? My question is, what would make the best Dragon Ball Z game? And I proposed this question based off of looking at a lot of recent games like, Ultimate Tenkaichi, Dragon Ball Z Connect, how they're not really selling the best, and they're kind of like dying in the eyes of the media.
Well, if we're being technical, the DBZ games have been dying ever since, whatchamacallit, have been raging with Burst Limit.
Yeah, Burst Limit.
It's funny, actually.
They've been doing so badly this console generation. It's really it's kind of funny. But then I realized I love Dragon Ball Z, so I don't want it to fail.
Yeah, it's also funny as I'm forgetting the title of these games, even though I'm sitting directly in front of them.
Oh, it's a good thing you happen to have a giant DBZ fanboy standing right in front of you, or sitting on the other side of the laptop. I don't know.
Other side of the screen, quite. But no, I know all this stuff too, but I was just forgetting what individual one it was. Because they've had so many come out in the last 5 or so years. And if I'm being brutally honest, I think probably one of the best ones is going to be a tie between Raging Blast 2 and Tenkaichi Tag Team for the PSP.
Tenkaichi Tag Team?
You never played that one, did you?
I played a demo. I thought it was alright, but I wasn't familiar with the Tenkaichi 3 engine at the time, so I was like, this is okay. I don't dig the art style.
They did have to downgrade the graphics for that, but that's mostly because going from a game that was about 4 gigabytes, 5 gigabytes,
I was talking more controls than anything else.
Well, the problem with that, though, was lack of dual analog sticks and proper camera controls. But
lack of an L2 and R2 button, which were kind of critical back in... Well, no, Tenkaichi 3 never really used the R1 button, I don't think. No, it did when you're going up and down. I swear there was one button on it. Oh yeah, the L1 button. That served one function. You double tap it, boom, half your health's gone, but you can repel them. I swear it looks like that has something else mapped to it, but I don't know. Maybe it had to omit something.
L1 in Tenkaichi 1 and 2 is lock on, and in Tenkaichi 3 you start auto locked on, but if you get hit with a blast from a far distance, you get knocked out of lock on and have to use it to lock back on.
It's also just if you get hit by an ultimate move in general. Or Solar Flare, but really, who's using Solar Flare? Unless you're playing Legacy of Goku. Use Solar Flare there.
Solar Flare has no purpose outside of the Wii's online mode for Tenkaichi 3.
Why is that?
Because it's the only way you're gonna play someone without having split screen, so they can't cheat off you.
Yeah, that's true. Alright, so I say we get the show on the road. Before I get into my personal custom game that incorporates a whole shitload of elements from other games, these are just ones like made off the top of my head that could possibly kind of just borrow a lot from the previous games. They're just like a model based off of it. So my first idea is make Burst Limit 2 but add a fuckload of content. I'm talking full on better story mode, museum, art gallery, anything you could possibly do. Make it past the Boo Saga, make it GT Saga. I was about to say past GT Saga. I don't know what. Shit, we got into fan art territory. I don't know. Just make Burst Limit 2 because the Shin Budokai engine, which it really is just a downgrade Shin Budokai engine. Really, you can't deny that. It is
Shin Budokai, and I like Shin Budokai.
I like Shin Budokai too. Just not necessarily story mode in 2, but that's for a different story.
Yeah.
Really, the Shin Budokai engine is good. Just make it so... Oh, yeah, also, you have to have lowering of actual fucking energy when you use an attack of some kind. Instead of just like, big bang attack, big bang attack.
I'd say Burst Limit had maybe 2 problems with it overall in terms of gameplay. The first is that despite being the first HD game that's really pretty to look at, it has minimal amounts of replay value.
Yeah.
For the first of those problems is lack of customization, and the second is fights are either way too easy or way too annoying. If you're not the one spamming all of your energy attacks at the opponent, they're spamming all of their energy attacks at you. Even when even in story mode, actually.
And unfortunately, they nerfed the sidestepping movement, so this cheap strategy I found. No, Malto, I would not like to upgrade right now. The strategy I found back in story mode for Shinobitachi1 was just to sidestep everything, so they would never be able to hit you, ever.
Yeah.
It works so well in the last fucking chapter of the game. So yeah, just try Burst Limit 2. The Shinobitachi1 engine still works. It's still good. You just gotta really elaborate on what you have already there. My second one is make Raging Blast 1's combat engine a lot faster, a lot more responsive. I say a lot more responsive in the way of movement. Movement feels very gimped in Raging Blast 1 too, compared to like Tenkaichi. Am I the only one who feels this? Because it seems like free movement is just kind of very stiff in it.
No, you're kind of right, but the problem with that is that, again, going from 4x3 to 16x9 is the same kind of transition that Mega Man had from Mega Man 6 to Mega Man 7. Everything got bigger and thus harder and a bit slower at the same time. So, while not expanding the overall stages that much, the characters got bigger and a little slower.
Well, I'm not necessarily talking about everything getting bigger. I'm just talking about movement as a whole.
I know, and it got a little slower that way. In Tenkaichi 3, you were really fast because the models were relatively small as opposed to their environment. So you could move around really fast and without having any problems and dodge out of attacks completely.
Okay.
While being directly in front of them. In Raging Blast 2, that isn't entirely true because, while somehow moving slower, attacks fire faster, making it somewhat harder to dodge.
I don't know about that. I don't feel like
it depends on your distance.
I don't feel like everything is larger in Raging Blast. I think it's still pretty much the same size, at least from where I'm sitting. And it really feels like it could be a lot quicker with what they're have going on.
Part of that is the way they made changes to the combat style, the way that different buttons are mapped to different functions, and I guess the engine somewhat.
The engine is kind of what's holding back Raging Blast, because Raging Blast for me would be the best DBZ game if not for just the stiff controls in general and the combat system really lacking in that department.
It's a matter of the controls and combo system as a whole. In Raging Blast 1, it was really annoying and lacked replayability for the fact that literally everyone had the exact same combos. You hit them away, you hit them back, you hit them all over the place. You play pinball with them essentially.
It's not even that. It's also has to do with
hold on.
From a guy who played the ever-loving shit out of Tenkaichi 2, it sort of feels like that, where you can't really get too elaborate with your combos. You pretty much just
that's it.
Square triangle, square triangle, square triangle, knock them away, do a couple of Dragon Rush moves. That's it. That's really bad. You're
limited to basically one or two different combos as a whole if you want to do any extensive damage outside of a special. And with that, you're limited to basically playing pinball or ping pong or whatever with them until you smack them back into the ground. You can't do anything really creative. And that was where I looked and saw great appreciation in the updated combat system in Raging Blast 2. You could extend your combos so much longer and do flashy little cinematics in the middle of them multiple times and make them look really pretty. Doing that whole pinball effect, kind of similar to how the Naruto games animate Rock Lee's 5 Inner Gates attack.
Yeah.
So that I really liked. That was a nice touch that made it look prettier.
Yeah, Raging Blast 2 certainly did make the combat a lot better, but the only problem I have with that is
it wasn't perfect, but it was better. You could at least have fun with it.
Yeah, it was certainly there, but I just kind of wish they gave you some sort of like combo move list where you can memorize what they are off the top of your head instead of just being able to like randomly press buttons, see what you can do, and get extensions off of it. It really is just like a lack of user interface that kind of holds back for me. But
I think that. Go ahead.
All right. Well. And the movement itself is still a little gimped, but it does feel better than Raging Blast 1 at least. Alright, your turn.
Yeah. I think the problem with that, though, is that you can't really make full set combos and move lists out of a game that moves fully in 3D, up and down, side to side, etc. You can't really do that because it would be too easy to get out of the way, to dodge, to substitute, to whatever the hell you want to call it.
Not really.
It would be too easy. Yeah, but that was different. That was a little harder to do that because
it requires precision timing with the Z counters.
Yeah, timing was a lot harder in that game than it was in future ones. But the point is that you wouldn't be able to get all those creative, awesome ones. Like, you wouldn't be able to get, like, a Street Fighter or a Tekken-sized move list out of that because it would be too hard to pull off in 3D because in a full 3D game because you wouldn't be able to move and they might move out of the way as you're trying to do that. Like, you might actually push them out of the way sometimes rather than directly hit them.
It's also with how
hitboxes in the games are a bit wonky sometimes.
That's true, and it's also countering in, like, if you're fighting on the ground, you're going to hit a wall and you won't be able to do a combo at all. Which is a thing in other fighting games, but you can take advantage of it there. In 3D fighting games, you can't really do much with it unless it's specifically designed to keep wall combos in mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, Raging Blast. I do think Raging Blast could be a lot better if they just implemented a better engine. Just like even just Tenkaichi 2's engine would be great, or just like incorporating themes from it. Still keeping Raging Blast 1's combo engine intact, but just greatly expanding upon it. Which I think Raging Blast 2 does to an extent, but it's still highly lacking.
Well, the Raging Blast engine game engine is the same as the Tenkaichi's engine. The only difference is in graphics.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I have always admired about the DBZ games is that after Tenkaichi 3, every game afterwards had its own unique visual style and graphic style that I really liked and admired each in their own individual way. Burst Limit was probably what I think is the closest looking to the anime in some senses, from visually attacks to just pretty looking stages as well as cutscenes.
Yeah.
Raging Blast 1, it had a very smooth and sleek look that I also liked, that showed especially in the opening, which I think is probably one of, if not the best openings in the entire franchise of DBZ games.
Tenkaichi 1 in mind?
Ugh. No, that was 2 3D. That was... You remember how I've mentioned before that my complaint with Raging Blast 2's graphic style is that they don't look like models, they look like action figures.
Yeah.
That is pumped up to 40 in Tenkaichi 1's opening.
Yeah, but it's still a pretty look at, but anyway. So, yeah, that's that. Alright, the next one on my list is make Tenkaichi 3 HD. Really, I mean, come on, dude. We see this all the time in comment sections across all across the internet on various YouTube channels. Everyone's just like, make fucking Tenkaichi 3 HD. And I was gonna say Tenkaichi HD Collection, but then I realized everyone would only be playing Tenkaichi 3.
Basically, yeah, because the first 2 games are literally the same thing.
Yeah.
For the most part.
It's like with the Budokai HD Collection, everyone only really plays Budokai 3 because it's fucking Budokai 3.
Well, I think people would have played Budokai 2 if they put it in there, if only for the fact that each story mode is different, and I actually really... Well, that too, but I'm one of the only people on the planet who actually liked Budokai 2's adventure mode. I really had a lot of fun with it.
It does look good, yeah. It's just...
And if you know what you're doing, you can buff the hell out of your characters on every map.
Yeah. Well, then again, I was the crazy guy who was, when I was 13, I sat through Chronicles of the Lost Sword on Soul Calibur 3, which is essentially the same thing as Budokai 2. When I eventually get to that, maybe a couple weeks, I'll show that, but yeah. Yeah, fucking Tenkaichi 3 HD. Make it have online, make it have all the features in both versions, and you're basically done. Instant seller, boom, bada bing, bada boom, go home.
That's subtle on PS2 Classic, but that works too.
Yeah, well, the Wii one was the one that had it online, so just incorporate both. I think
they could. I think they could do the same thing with that. What they did with Okami, they put an HD port for the PS3 that incorporated PlayStation Move. So I think they could really.
That?
What?
Did anyone buy that?
It was a digital only release.
Oh shit.
But it was cheap though, so if you want to pick it up, I'd say you should. It's only about like $10-15.
Might as well, considering it is a pretty good game by Capcom, I hear. So why not?
Yeah, but ideally that's what they should do, because people aren't going to purchase a re-release of just that, and there's no point, physically I mean, and there's no point in putting the other 2 out there, because I really just didn't like what Tenkaichi 2 did with story. I'm going to be one of the only people to say this, as probably the 30th DBZ fighting game, you don't really need to go that far with it. You don't need to expand to every single thing, even sometimes splitting up what was one fight into 2 or 3.
Yeah, but it was the first Dragon Ball Z game to be that in-depth with the story mode.
I suppose, but the problem I had with that is that their attempt at cutscenes were awful.
Yeah, they really were. I'm not gonna
Like,
deny that.
I don't even think those cutscenes had dialogue. They were just text.
Well,
Or they were sometimes, at least.
with me, I like and dislike Tenkaichi 2's story mode. On the one hand, it's one of my favorite story modes in any DBZ game ever. Mostly because of the sheer freedom it gives you. Like, you can, if you look around the map, you can recruit other guys to your team. Like, I frequently went into the fight with Vegeta with fucking PyCon. What is this? User action required to continue recording. Yes, I want to keep recording. Damn it. Malto's weird. Anyway, so you can buff out the shit out of your characters with different stats. Like, back in Budokai 3, you can only really put item, like the capsule system, which was really asinine, but in retrospect, you can only equip like moves, transformations. If you're Goku or Frieza, you're fucked. The only way you can really buff your stats was with certain items that took up the rest of your slots. Tenkaichi 2 really ramifies that by being able to freely upgrade any stat you want. That's great, but it also kind of gimps the game in the same way, because it makes it so if you have all max stats and the right items in the right places, you're going to make the game way too fucking easy.
And additionally to that, outside of stats, there's really no customization to it. You can't really have any fun with it outside of, oh, my attack is maxed, or my defense is maxed, or everything is maxed. You can't really have any freedom or fun with it because all you're going to do is max everything, so you just breeze through it.
Well, you can breeze through it, but the problem is that also the AI really does bring the pain with a lot of layer fights. Like, I remember they actually did this. It made me fucking use Videl and fight Broly with maximum stats and some crazy super armor on him. That was hell to play. And
that sounds like fun, actually.
Well, when you don't have the best items at a time and you're fighting Broly with Videl, it was.
Well, I mean, like, anything that actually gives a challenge sounds fun, because after recently having played Burst Limit, Blast 1, and Blast 2, and then going back to Tenkaichi 3, when I bought it for you, it was like, I noticed that all of the games recently had lost all of their challenge to them. They were made way too easy, even on the hardest difficulties.
Oh yeah.
Like even unlocking the Z difficulties, they were still maybe tantamount to hard mode on a regular game. When I went back to play Tenkaichi 3 for a few days before I gave it to you, I noticed how difficult it was in comparison, how much I've been missing out. And one of the reasons why in recent years people will say Tenkaichi 3 is one of, if not the best games of all time, because it actually is challenging. It gives you a fight.
Well, yeah, and sort of agreeing with that, Raging Blast 1, Raging Blast 2 CPU was absolutely dumb as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even Omega said that, and I played it. I was like, this is really fucking easy. Like, even just going through like the max, like crazy challenges where you fight Goku at the end, he's got like crazy amounts of stats, and he just spams the Spirit Bomb all day, every day. Even then, it's not really that bad if you use Gogeta, which I did, because fucking Gogeta. Because on Super Saiyan 4 doesn't count. Yeah. Also, there was also the fact that back in Tenkaichi 3, on top of the PS2, kind of maxing out the CPU at that point, a lot of the fights were really scripted, so it was intentionally giving you a fight if you were on the losing end of the battle.
Yeah. What I liked about that, though, is that the ones that are meant to be hard are hard as balls.
Yeah.
Like any of the fights with Kid Buu, those are really going to test you.
I managed to somehow get through Kid Buu on a Let's Play in like one try. I don't know how.
You finished that already?
Yeah, I did. I managed to get it through the Buu Saga. I have it scheduled to upload right now.
Huh,
yeah.
Nice. But
still doesn't change the fact that it was fucking annoying though.
Yeah, like I've played Tenkaichi 3 a total of 3 times now. I owned it back in the day when it came out on PS2.
You're making Gaben roll his head right now.
What?
You're making Gaben roll his head right now. You mentioned 3 twice in the same sentence.
Quite.
Dude.
And so I played it when it came out, and I had a shit ton of fun with it. And at that point, I actually had friends who were willing to play it with me, so that was nice with that incredible roster. Then I played it again in 2009 when I first got a Wii on, I think it was my 15th or 16th birthday. I just got a Wii as a present, which was nice and random because I wasn't expecting it. So of course I got the staples of any good game library, Brawl, Mario Kart, etc. And of course, because I knew how good it was, I had to get Tenkaichi 3.
Son of a bitch, you start with that one. I started with Tenkaichi 2.
And here's a little funny story, actually, that I think I might have told you.
Huh?
I ordered that the same week I got everything else. I opened it up. I was all excited to play my favorite PS2 game, or one of them, anyways, with motion controls to see how it handled.
Uh-oh.
When I opened up the box, it was the special kind that had the bonus DVD in there. The DVD that was out in front, but in the back was Tenkaichi 2, and it was sealed up and everything, factory sealed.
Oh my god.
I ordered Tenkaichi 3, and Tenkaichi 2 came in its place.
Son of a
So I
bitch.
played. So I was pissed, and I played the entirety of Tenkaichi 2, and God, was the Wii's motion controls in Tenkaichi 2 bad. Like, I understand if people like that because it was the first attempt at it, but God, was it bad.
It's really all about the game controls with that, seriously.
Yeah.
I can actually
so-
top that. I can top that with a funnier story that happened. So, I told you about the time I ordered Budokai 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, the audience needs to hear this. So, I fucking order Budokai 2 for the GameCube on Amazon. It shows up. Was it a GameCube? It was either GameCube or PS2. I don't know which. It shows up in the mail, and right behind it, in the same sleeve it came in, was a copy for the PS2 version of fucking Tenkaichi 2. I'm like, son of a bitch! I got Budokai 2 and Tenkaichi 2 in the same fucking order. 2 for 1. And then I played it. I tried them both. They don't work. Like this still boggles my mind to this day. Like, I checked the back of the discs. They look perfectly fine. There's barely any scratches on them. I cleaned them. They won't even get past, like, the opening PS2 logo. I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell did the last guy do to these games?
It's nice to know you thought you were going to get doubly awesome, but then get doubly fucked.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So I'm still using Budokai Tenkaichi 2 as the coaster. Amazing.
But so I got Tenkaichi 2 when I played it, and after 2 days I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this for a while. I actually had to go out to my local, while it was still open, Hollywood Video.
Oh,
You
God.
remember those days? Yeah. And rented Tenkaichi 3, and God, was that fun. And I also at the same time had a GameCube controller, so I tried it both, and it was a perfect copy to the PS2's controls, which the PS2's controls were almost picture perfect. So
Yeah.
that was amazing to be able to try both. I more often than not used the motion controls, so that was awesome. I gave it up within the week and was sad. I was like, fuck it, I'll just complete Tenkaichi 2.
Weren't you the one saying that the GameCube controls for Tenkaichi 2 are god awful?
Yeah, that's why I stuck. That's why when I was stuck between two shitty controls, I went with the GameCube's version, because the GameCube's version is almost in a completely inverted controls from the PS2's, and you can't swap them back to normal.
Yeah.
So that was really
I
annoying.
guess I'm just naturally used to it. It's weird. Getting used to Tenkaichi 3 was actually really weird for me for the first couple of weeks. Now it's actually just second nature. So I can only imagine how it's going to feel going back. I don't know. But
Yeah.
anyway, Tenkaichi 3, just make that HD port. The next one, I kind of just wrote this as like a broad term, but just continue the original formula set up by the Budokai series. I mean, that was like a general statement. Just, they had Budokai 3, they have Infinite World, Shin Budokai. I was about to refer to Burst Limit as Shin Budokai. Oops. I think it's appropriate. Just a follow premise you guys have with that, because people complain about Mario oversaturation, but it's still a time-tested formula, so why not? And to be fair, Nintendo needs money. So, Dragon Ball Z needs money, so why not do that? Just go back and continue the original Budokai story or series.
They tried that with the HD port and with the HD collection. You'd be surprised. That did not sell well.
Seriously.
Yeah, like it got the natural amount that it would be from getting the fans who loved the game in the first place, but it did not get many, if at all, newcomers from it, because it's like, oh, people who don't know think it would actually follow the series 1, 2, 3. With the missed inclusion of 2, people thought that it would be an incomplete collection.
Yeah,
kind of like the Metal Gear Solid collection, where it's like Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, without any inclusion of Metal Gear Solid 1.
Well, there was a
reason
reason for that. It's because of licensing issues. Because at the time, Konami was having a real bitch fit of a time with the PS2. They're about to jump ship exclusive to Nintendo, so that's why they remade Metal Gear Solid 1 on the GameCube and call it Twin Snakes. So when you play that game, they legitimately have in the background all sorts of just random Nintendo references. Like, you go to Otacon's desk, he's got fucking Mario and Yoshi sitting right there. I'm not kidding. So
that's a thing?
Yeah, seriously. So that's the reason why they didn't port Twin Snakes. They could have done it for the PS1 version, but it's already available on download through PSN, so why do that? And since they couldn't technically just go back and extract the stuff, I don't know why. I guess it has to do with Nintendo technically owning that game. I'm not sure, but okay. That's just what I hear. Anyway, so
Yeah.
I think there might have been some weird licensing issues with Budokai 2. Now I look at it objectively, because that was the game that,
No.
well, just hear me out for a sec. That was the game that really tried to set itself apart from Budokai 1, and for that matter, a lot of the previous games before that. It was the one that had a what-if story, it had what-if fusions, it had a lot of crazy shit that was going for it. So I kind of think in that respect, it's not that it didn't sell well. Budokai 2 scored as a greatest hits on both the GameCube and the PS2. So saying it didn't sell is complete bullshit. It sold like hotcakes. As for the story mode, they fucking ported worse. Come on.
Well, no, I wouldn't call it a what-if story. I would just call it following the main quest as broadly as you possibly could.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say what if. Did I say what if?
You said what if.
Well, yeah,
but
it is a pseudo what if story, but it also does like a lot of crazy shit, like the whole chessboard thing.
But again, I kind of like the effort trying something different aside from the regular episodic format to the complete adventure format that Budokai 3 and Budokai Tenkaichi 2 would take.
Essentially, yeah.
It's because the weird thing about that, about how future games would follow, is that in a technical sense, Budokai Tenkaichi 1 somewhat tried to follow the original Budokai 1s with being episodic, that you just selected them off a menu.
They did that?
Yeah.
Wow. I was about to ask, what the hell did Tenkaichi 1 do? Because I've never seen high nor tail of that game before, outside of the shitty combat.
It didn't do anything like cutscenes or title cards like Budokai 1 did, which I think it would have benefited for.
So what to go for?
But it was literally just you select them off a menu. There's a text crawl and characters attempt a cutscene.
Define
I say attempt. They talk again. I don't think it was voiced or not. I haven't played that game since 2007. But they attempt voice. I don't think they succeeded with it.
Probably not.
And I'm not sure. I think they might have just not put it in. I think it might have just been my disc. I don't know. The disc I had other problems.
I don't know. Well, Tenkaichi 1 was the exoskeleton, what was to come in the series. And I think it might be the reason why DBZ Anto hasn't even tackled that series yet.
Because they're fucking long.
Well,
but
that too. Well, he managed to complete Tenkaichi 2 in a reasonable amount of time. It was like 30 videos. I expect it to be longer.
But Tenkaichi 1 was an awkward game, but it set a good frame in place. I'll say that much.
Yeah, and it
was awkward,
well
but
too, even though it was so stiff.
But I think one of the problems with that is that its customization was awful. It was also the frame for Tenkaichi 2's capsule system involving literally just stats, and it was bad because I think you could only power up each stat by like 5 or 10, not the full 20.
Jesus Christ.
So you weren't really very powerful either.
Yeah, that kind of takes away from the fun, especially if we're going by the same scaling that Tenkaichi 2 had.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
where was I? But Tenkaichi 2, its story mode attempted and did not do well at following up in Budokai 3's story structure, which is flying around on the map. And the reason it didn't work is that you didn't have secrets. You didn't have things that were well hidden.
Tenkaichi 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, everything on the map was blatantly pointed out to you. There were no secrets, nothing to find. No finding Goku's capsule randomly up in the mountains in the map that somehow unlocked Bardock instead of Kid Goku for some reason.
Yeah.
That always bothered me about Budokai 3, is that somewhere off in the map on the second run of Goku, you would find Goku's space pod, and it would unlock Bardock instead of Kid Goku.
Yeah, well, Budokai 3 really did incorporate a lot of the elements from the movies. They just kind of had the characters in there, and it was just like 2 lines of dialogue, and then boom, fight. And after that, boom, you unlock them. That's it.
I know, I get that, but I still think it would have made more sense to have Kid Goku appear from his space pod, but I guess that's neither here nor there. But there were still other things you could do that were a lot of fun, and the changes that were made to the story by doing different things and going different places in different orders were a lot of fun to discover and figure out. Like, for example, if you do it just right on Goku's second run-through, you can make it to where Omega Shenron will appear and you can get Super Saiyan 4 Capsule after fighting Gotenks as Gogeta.
Oh, God,
normally
yeah, that was fun.
Now, normally you can only get one of those two things to happen, but there are ways you can make both of them happen one after the other, and it is amazing.
Oh, yeah. That is some fun shit.
You can't do anything like that in future games, which is kind of sad. You'd think with supposedly better graphics and a better engine, they would try to do more for special post-content and story crap.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that Budokai 3 was good because of its non-linearity and everything was sort of a secret.
Yeah.
I kind of agree and I disagree because I do like the idea of having everything non-linear, and after you beat it once, you can do it however the hell you want with like multiple story paths. I don't like that, however, because that means if you don't have access to the internet, it's very fucking awkward trying to unlock them. Like, goddamn, it took me the longest time to actually figure out how to unlock some of the characters. Coming to mind is Majin... No, not Majin Vegeta. It was something when you play on Vegeta's path. What was it?
To me, it seems the most annoying character to find was Supreme Kai.
I don't remember how to unlock him.
It's one of those things where technically I guess it would count as a side quest. You find him on the map once randomly as adult Gohan, and then you have to find him like 2 or 3 more times.
Oh yeah, that
before fighting Super Buu or before fighting Majin Buu.
Mm-hmm.
It was all really annoying. I'll give you that. Some characters were annoying to find, but overall, I liked that if you wanted to actually get some of the harder or more important stuff, you actually had to work for it.
Yeah.
Rather than everything just being given to you for completing a task. That's what I don't like about a lot of modern games. Like starting from whatchamacallit, second or third games in a series. Like I feel like you should have to work for something. When I first played Naruto Storm 3 and I did like the first fight in story mode, it said that I unlocked like 16 characters after doing like 2 fights.
Well, Generations kind of had that problem as well.
But no, I don't mean Generations, I mean fully Storm 3.
I know.
Like I know those characters didn't do anything at all in story, but just giving me those randomly there was weird and a little disorienting. Like I feel if those characters don't have a role in story, put them in another mode, put them in an arcade mode or a survival mode or something for me to find them.
Yeah.
Like don't sprinkle them randomly throughout the story.
Well, before we move on to the next point, there is one more other. Well, actually, there's 2 other reasons why I like Tenkaichi 2 story mode. The first being is that if you can randomly find characters fight as like pseudo super bosses. Like the first one that comes to mind is Broly, and then I know there was you can fight like a group of 5 Metacoolers, which even though you do it multiple times, it is still kind of cool. Just knowing you can walk in with like Yajirobe and Hercule and just beat the shit out of 5 Metacoolers all at once. And then I'll give fighting like Broly on a max stats, which granted I know it's Broly, but I like beating the shit out of him because fuck Broly.
I'll give Tenkaichi 2 and 3 had something that 2 started but carried on to 3, which I'll give them credit for one thing. Without characters having defined stats, you could customize any character whatever way you wanted, no matter how minuscule or weak they are, to kick vast amounts of ass. So I do like the idea of taking Yajirobe and killing Broly with like no problem.
That's great. And the last point I like is because you can access the shop on the map, which is a small touch, but I really enjoy that. Just because Budokai 3 had to exit back to the title screen in order to actually access it. So just the ease of just being able to go right there and unlock it is really nice. I find
that is an upgrade from Tenkaichi 1, where I think there might have been a shop, but I think for the most part you just unlocked items randomly by completing story things and ultimate battle things, which was really annoying for how long that would be.
Yeah, true. All right. The last point I want to cover for just like
existing games.
Existing games, is I'm not really sure where I'm going with this, and I think this is kind of a bad idea, but I think it's interesting. New console action RPG. Like, well, this is referencing to a bad game, but a game that exists. Sagas.
Elaborate.
Dragon Ball Z Sagas.
Well, the problem that game
hear me out.
No, hold on. I agree. I'm willing to listen to you, but the problem that game had is that it was made by a different company
Yeah.
from the main games.
Who the hell
So
made
they,
that game?
I'm not sure, but I know it wasn't Atari.
Let me rock a wiki and I shall see. Doo-doo-doo. But yeah, my primary point while I'm looking this up is just take Dragon Ball Z Sagas, take everything that's inside of it, and just throw it away. Just out the fucking window. You just left with like a fucking box where Sagas once was. Now, just take like a developer that's really well renowned, like, I don't know, Platinum Games, Capcom, I don't know, just random people.
Well, that game's a beat 'em up, so put the
Sagas
guys
is
who
a beat 'em up. That's really
Yeah.
all it is. It's just a very bad one.
put the guys behind Double Dragon on that.
Double Dragon. Yeah, it's not bad.
Have you not played it? Have you not played any of them?
No, I know about Double Dragon. I just never played it myself. Although I really do want to get Double Dragon Neon because that looks freaking cool. Alright. Apparently, according to Wikipedia, it is made by a developer called Avalanche Software. It was only published by
Yeah, those are not the same people at all.
I wonder what else they've done. Games
What?
developed. Hannah Montana Spotlight World Tour. Toy Story 3, the video game. Okay, Toy Story 3, the video game was alright. Cars 2, the video game Disney Infinity, because people remember that. Rugrats
Didn't that
Royal
just come out?
Mansion, Tak and the Power of Juju. Tak was something. Tak 2, Tak. Oh my god. They made some NCAA games. Oh,
Really?
Oh, apparently they also made Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
Ooh, well, I like Mortal Kombat Trilogy and by extension Mortal Kombat 3.
Yeah.
So,
They've
I guess back in the day they had something going for them, but they sure as hell did not in the 6th generation.
But then again, Hannah Montana Spotlight World Tour.
That's why I'm saying they had something going on in the 5th generation,
Yeah.
not the 6th.
Yeah.
The 5th was PS1, N64, and the Saturn.
Yeah. Essentially.
After that was the 6th.
Hmm.
But yeah, at that point they had run themselves into the ground.
Yeah, so it's a miracle they actually managed to do anything else after that. But yeah, again, just take Sagas, throw everything that shit about it, the graphics, the glitches, the very boring engine. I think basically everything about it. Well, yeah, more or less everything about it. Although I do like how you can actually fight yard rats in that. As random as that is.
You know what this actually reminds me of another little story.
Hmm?
This reminds me of another little story from back in 2007.
Not how your friend held in his piss so long he was just able to win the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tour.
That was 2011 actually, but no wait, that was 2010, but that was a fun story. Which I actually remember that from watching that from the Generations thing.
Yeah, I did.
But
I did quite a bit of editing that, and I just watched it again yesterday for no reason.
But so what's really funny is back in 2007, I had a GameCube before I had a PS2. I played Budokai 1 on there. I owned Budokai 1 on there. I played Budokai 2 on there. I owned that on there. And they were a lot of fun, so I didn't know what Sagas was, so I picked that up one day from Hollywood Video. That was a good place back when it existed.
Yeah.
But, so I picked it up, and I didn't touch it for a couple days because I had school and whatnot. And 2 days in, I finally put it in, and I watched the opening video, and Vegeta looked ugh. But so I saw... But he's... You know how in some lights his hair is purple?
Purple, blue, black, brown, yeah.
It was a very light brown. Very light.
Dear. Oh, so it's pulling a Kai. Okay. It
Ugh.
does look very brown in the
So-
Kai opening.
But so it started the video, it started up the menu, it started up the cutscene. The game froze immediately upon trying to actually load the first level.
I think that's a sign.
It literally
That was a sign.
would not let me. I tried it like 30 times, it wouldn't. I thought, did my GameCube overheat? Did I stick a fork in the fan again? What the hell
It
happened?
might have been God's way of saying, dude, don't play this fucking game.
So I got pissed. I returned it. I told them that it didn't work, and I rented Clash Ninja 2, and that was fun.
Oh, good.
Before I ended up buying that, and that was a lot of fun later on. But then a couple weeks later, I decided I'll try it again, see if I can get it to work this time. This time I tried it from Blockbuster, which was annoying because they charged $3 more than Hollywood Video, but
Shit.
that's neither here nor there. So I tried it, and the same thing happened again, and I swear to God, it was like someone swapped the discs between stores. Like I feel like I got the exact same disc that I got from the other store.
Sure, it wasn't
Neither
your
of them-
GameCube, right?
No, my GameCube played every other game I've ever owned just perfectly fine.
Huh. Because I've noticed some weird compatibility issues with, I think it was my PS2, where like I try loading on someone else's PS2, it works. I try loading up on mine, it doesn't. I have no idea.
Mm.
You know, runs other games is fine. It was just like one game that doesn't work. Speaking of games that don't work, I have Shadow the Hedgehog sitting over there. I should probably touch that again sometime.
What game?
Shadow the Hedgehog. Completely random, yeah. Anyway.
God. But see, it didn't work either time, and that pissed me off. But it ultimately didn't matter to me because that was about a month or two before I sold off my GameCube to get a PS2.
Mm-hmm.
Because literally the reason I bought a PS2 was for Tenkaichi 3. Because I had a friend that I played a shitload of Tenkaichi 2 with beforehand, and I was like, okay, I need the next game, and I need it myself. I can't, for a game this good, I can't go a couple of weeks without playing it. I have to play this, and I have to play it on my own.
You sound like my friend Chris.
Yeah, it's weird for me to think in the past about me actually liking Tenkaichi 2 enough to want to play it in full.
Yeah. Well, were you playing on the PS2 or the Wii?
PS2.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would do it.
PS2 was manageable. Its controls were still kind of wonky, but it was manageable.
Yeah. So, yeah. Besides the whole console action RPG, I don't really know where to go with that. I think if you incorporate more elements from like, I'm gonna be referencing this game a lot. I know this, but Legacy of Goku 2, which, fuck yes.
That game was also a beat 'em up.
That game was also beat 'em up, but also had a lot of actual RPG elements. By the way, when I eventually complete Buse Free, we're totally doing a retrospective of Legacy of Goku series. These games are great past the first one. So
I would certainly hope so.
Oh, yeah. Besides that, I don't really know where to go with the whole console action RPG. Maybe like Devil May Cry meets Kingdom Hearts using Goku Dragon Ball Z characters. I have no fucking clue. Someone will eventually take the idea and run with it because, for God's sakes, we have so many fucking fighting games released in the past years. Although there is a lot of good RPGs that were released on the DS, like Attack of the Saiyans.
Well, I think there was only actually 2 RPGs in the DS. That one and the card game. You know what the funny thing
In
is?
America, yeah. There was also a few fighting games in Japan, but they're fucking Japan assholes.
Well, I mean RPGs.
Yeah.
In America on the DS, we also got Supersonic Warriors 2.
I thought that was an actual fighting game.
That was a fighting game. But if you're talking DS games as a whole, we got the 2 RPGs and Supersonic Warriors. As for RPGs, we got both of the RPGs that actually did come on DS. There were some other games, like there were some Dragon Ball games, 2 of them called Dragon Ball Origins, which were meant to coincide with some of the Dragon Ball games that released on the Wii.
Yeah, they were
in those games,
Dragon Ball Adventures and something else. Revenge of King Piccolo, that was it.
Those 2 games were good, but Revenge of King Piccolo was more of a platformer beat 'em up.
Really?
Yeah, I actually looked at that game. I didn't play it, but I've seen trailers and stuff of it, and it is largely a beat 'em up platformer.
Huh. Well, I guess they already kind of beat me to the punch then, because it actually sounds pretty good. Cool.
I don't think platforming would work for DBZ though.
Probably not, but you can.
Like you wouldn't think so in a traditional way.
Nah, not really. I don't want to say use what they did in Infinite World was where you play as a character and it was on a 3D environment and you had to run around and collect shit. Nah.
That was basically an expanded port of Budokai 3's story.
It really was, and I think at that point, Atari or Namco, whoever the hell had the license for the game at that point, who the hell developed the Budokai series anyway?
Those were that was Atari. Atari had them from Budokai 1 all the way up to Infinite World.
Okay.
And because it was Infinite World, that means they also had Burst Limit, because that came right before Infinite World, but I think about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they did have some like pseudo platforming things in Infinite World, but it didn't really work. Mostly because it was sort of just all minigame oriented, but even then it was still there, so I guess it's something.
Those were entirely minigames. They didn't have anything else.
Yeah, true. I'm glad it's just tied to story, though. Anyway, so Now to move on to the personal build I've come up with that incorporates a shit ton of things from other games and combine it into one solid package that would probably do pretty well.
Well, hold on a sec, wait. I don't think I mentioned much about Ultimate Tenkaichi, and at the same time, the upcoming Battle of Z.
Well, yeah.
Because I think if we have to talk about future games or what's possible, we have to mention at least Battle of Z.
I know. I was going to mention Battle of Z. It is coming out, and it does look like it's going to be pretty solid. I don't like the camera because I saw some recent gameplay of it, and the camera looks a little dicey, especially with the amount of chaos that's going on. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be pretty good.
I think the only problem I have with that, though, is that I'm pretty sure that game is not going to have local co-op. Because how in the hell are you going to be able to do 4-player split screen on a game like that, on an engine like that,
I hear
at
from
one
one of my
time?
friends that also won't have local multiplayer.
What?
I hear from one of my friends that also won't have local multiplayer, although I don't have any citations for that.
Won't or will? I can't quite hear you.
Won't.
Because for this, I honestly think, unless they cut it down to just a 2v2 local or a 1v1, that it wouldn't work. Because it's not like Mario Kart or something where you can split it into 4 screens and have it work.
Yeah.
That would not work for a game that would be as taxing as that.
Especially considering how much shit there is occurring on the screen at once all at the same time.
Exactly.
Without splitting it.
With its current engine, I'm already worried about how much that would lag online with a full 8 players, let alone 4 local.
Yeah. So that does have me concerned. But
like
maybe
that,
it'll be good. As long as they make the online play really solid and the story mode is pretty good, I don't really have too much of a gripe with this.
Story mode in games like these basically take a back seat at this point. You don't really need to worry about them. What matters for something like this, the biggest thing, is gameplay and frame rate.
Yeah.
What frame rate is that game with that many characters at once going to run at?
The frame rate did look alright. Considering just how late we are into this console generation, it does look alright.
Well, now hold on, because what we've seen so far is random versus and story matches. We've not actually seen online.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the biggest thing to worry about overall.
Well, as long as Namco manages to put enough money into the actual servers for the games, I think it'll run alright. It can't be any better, or I mean, it can't be any worse than what either Burst Limit or Raging Blast 1 was. Those games are pretty bad online. Mostly because there weren't any like solid servers or connections for them, but I don't know.
I wouldn't know about that. I didn't get into Raging Blast 1 until 2011.
Yeah, I played some just passive online matches, and they felt pretty laggy from my experience. Then again, that was a while ago.
Raging Blast 2's online worked pretty well. The only thing that annoyed me about it is that even though you could play your music in-game, you couldn't play your music online. That was the one thing that annoyed me. But as for battles, even with the full 5-on-5, it ran beautifully. Even 2 years after its release, there were still people playing it online that ran beautifully.
Sweet.
So it ran pretty well for the most part, and I like to think that it's that would hold up as one of the better onlines. I'm not sure how well they did with Ultimate Tenkaichi, mostly because by now people didn't like that game, so there's probably not anyone playing that.
Yeah,
but even then, I don't think it would have held up very well because of all the style changes in combat.
From what I hear, apparently the game is more focused on online play as it is instead of just single player. So I think there would be more emphasis put on it, and as of late, Namco has been pretty good with having online oriented games. So I'm not too worried. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it won't. But
I'm just curious to see if they take any of the elements of Ultimate Tenkaichi into any of the future games. Because I haven't seen too much of Battle of Z, but I'm wondering if they're going to take any of the battle changes into it.
I wonder if they're going to just incorporate all the past OVAs they've had in the games and put them into Battle of Z. That'd be funny.
I'd like to think so, that they'd have movies in there, but I'm not quite sure. In the latest trailer, or in the latest 2 trailers, we've seen that they have anime cutscenes from Battle of Z, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the full Battle of Gods movie, or if that's just going to be just in-game cutscenes.
It'll probably be the full movie. I'm willing to bet, even though it probably also won't be in dubs. Shit.
Well, that has me curious too, because Raging Blast 2 was not a very good definer of what they can and cannot do with it, because the one movie character that appeared in there was Hachiak, and it had no speaking lines. It just screamed. It didn't have any lines that were required to be translated into English.
Well, Hachiak doesn't really strike me as a character that is very reliant on dialogue. He seems kind of just more like grunting and you. I know,
but that's what I'm saying though. Is that that's not a good example of what to look at to see if that's something that can be set as a precedent. Mm-hmm. They didn't have any new characters in Ultimate Tenkaichi. Those were all previous.
Yeah.
As for Connect, they had Super Saiyan Bardock in there, but that's just a form of Bardock, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, it's a pretty established character. And you know,
so I'm not sure how they're going to handle Bills and Whis.
It's pretty funny to think that Dragon Ball Z Abridged managed to dub their own version of the Bardock special before Funimation did.
I think I've told you this before, but the reason why Funimation can't legally do that
Fox
is because ever since, and we haven't told the audience this yet,
okay.
But ever since and it's actually there's a lot of turmoil from Fox, but Dragon Ball Evolution was originally planned to release in 2005, not 2008.
Okay.
So there was a lot of budgetary problems with that caused it to push back many times. So that had actually been in recording for many years prior to that.
Weird.
But because of the complicated contract that they had to make with Toei as well as Funimation, until their contract expires, they're legally not allowed to dub anything classified as a movie or an OVA pertaining to Dragon Ball Z until the contract is over.
How long is that?
That's why I'm not quite sure, but my guess is somewhere between 5 and 10 years.
Yeah. Well, as someone who's going to college to get into the film industry, take my word for it, dealing with contracts in Hollywood and dealing with legal rights is really, really bullshit. Because if there's some falling out with the company and then a contract's just gonna be stuck in limbo and it takes for fucking ever to do something with it, assuming you can do anything with it at all. So right now, the Dragon Ball Z license, in terms of dubbing new shit, is kind of not sitting with a very good company right now. Like, I would say Fox isn't that good with handling their legal shit.
They're not. Fox isn't good with handling anything, really. Because more often than not...
outside of their news station.
They handle that pretty well, but even their own internal stuff. Like, for example, any of their nighttime weekday TV shows and their animation domination block, every time on Sundays that they try to add a new show, it never lasts for more than 2 years. Futurama got the axe after 2 years before switching to Cartoon Network and then Comedy Central.
Yeah, well, then they're also schizophrenic as hell with airing shit too.
Yeah, but they had problems with that. I think there were a few other shows. None of their live shows have ever lasted at all outside of that 70 shows and Malcolm in the Middle. And more recently, they tried Bob's Burgers, and that tanked immediately. That had one season,
I
heard
that word mentioned once, and then it was never heard from again.
Yeah, that had either one season or half a season, and it just dropped off the face of the earth until Adult Swim brought it back. But again, because it's not nearly to the level of Futurama, they're not trying to renew it for anything. They're just airing it for the hell of.
Yeah, basically. So,
but
moral of the story is Fox holding the Dragon Ball Z license is really not good.
It's really putting a halt on everything Funimation can do.
Yeah. Because
from what I hear, they were actually really lucky to even get Kai.
Yeah, basically. And considering the legal turmoil with the music for that already, that would put a severe hamper on it.
The problem with that, though, is that it caused a very long delay between where the dub was and where it finished.
Yeah.
Because as it stands, they didn't figure out the legal suit until literally the last 2 episodes of Kai in Japan, which was episodes 96 or 97. And at that point, the dub was getting on episode 50-something, which was the start of the Android saga. So as soon as that lawsuit broke in Japan, Kai did not air on American television for like 3 months until they went back and resettled all the music for the dub, for the reruns and for the newer episodes. And it wasn't Toei that did that, Studio Toei.
Huh.
It was actually Funimation that put back the original Japanese score in there for the TV episodes. Which, for the most part, they did somewhat of a decent job with what they had, with those old as the 80s sound effects.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the best soundtrack in an original DBZ format is Kai's.
Kai's is very solid, yeah.
I don't count Faulkner's as an original because it was added on to what was already there.
Yeah, basically. Well, Faulkner was already his own original artist when they brought him on, so naturally they couldn't really do that. So yeah. Although it's good they put it in the re-release of the orange boxes, which is really nice. I like that.
You know what's funny is that there was finally some information released about Funimation's most recent attempt at Blu-raying the orange bricks, and
the petition you sent me.
Yeah, well, that wasn't a petition. That was a survey to see what people want, and the information finally came out about that. And good to know that they're pissing people off yet again.
Ooh, what do they do now?
The thing that people didn't like about the orange bricks, I think after set 3 or 4, was that they were cropped into 16:9. They didn't do any real editing. They just cut off the top and bottom to make it wider.
So they just stretched the screen. Great.
Yeah. In the Dragon boxes, they kept them in 4:3, so you would have the black bars on the side. Personally, I like 16:9, but I can see why people would get pissed about that. I understand the problem.
Yeah.
Additionally, by stretching out the screen, you would be able to see the grain and the dirt on the film so much.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude! If you go back to any of the original broadcast of the Japanese version, you can see so much grain and dirt popping up on it. It's hilarious. Even now, then, while I'm watching not the orange bricks, but just the original 2003, 2004 releases of the DVDs, you can see so much of it popping up on the screen. It's hilarious.
So yeah, by stretching it out and making it brighter, it actually made it more apparent. And there are some people who will say that grain is what makes it appealing, kind of like the scratches and bumps on a record player.
Are you fucking high?
Yeah, people say that that's part of the appeal of a cartoon from the 80s. Which, again, I can understand if you like classics, but in this day and age, that's not going to do well.
The thing about Dragon Ball Z
is why I think
it was okay. It was very late 80s into early 90s. I can get that, but the thing about that though is when they started dubbing that in America, that was late 90s, early 2000s. They were way late to the game with that. So they were already passing off Dragon Ball Z, which was very 80s. Which, although personally, I think it looks very fucking beautiful for an 80s cartoon.
Oh no, definitely. Think about this. The thing about anime that 1998, everything looks like how Trigun looked.
Yeah.
Trigun looked great, but it had no budget. Dragon Ball Z looked like something coming out of 2002 in 1991.
No, dude. When
I
first found out about that,
amazing.
I was blown the fuck away. I couldn't believe that. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah. Like the original Dragon Ball looked like something early 90s, late 80s. And even then, it still looked very pretty and colorful for its day. Yeah. But Z looked amazing for its time.
Yeah, that's kind of other anime that was coming out at the time, too. I mean, granted, late 90s anime, although it did kind of rely on the crazy art style, like Trigun used and Tenshin Muyo. A lot of that was running around Neon Genesis, yeah.
But Neon Genesis was ugly for a lot of other reasons. Oh, yeah. It had less budget than Trigun. Yeah. There were some scenes that were apparently revolutionary for the time, but there were others where they would be so cheap that they would literally have people standing in one position on frame, in a single frame, just not even their mouths moving, just internally thinking to each other for 5 minutes.
Got some Final Fantasy VII going on there, sir.
Yeah, that was bad. But personally, I think that's the least of Evangelion's problems.
Yeah, but I think we should say that for now. Is there any Neon Genesis games out there?
Technically, Evangelion has been adopted into the mech game franchise Super Robot Wars, which is basically like a Smash Brothers of mech anime.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Gundam, Code Geass, Gurren Lagann, etc.
Yeah.
Aside from that, they had one game on the N64, which is apparently really good, but America never got it because N64.
I'll see if I can find some English patches for it.
But so they have that. But so yeah, DBZ.
Okay, so back on topic. What? We went way the fuck on topic. We're into this. I did say it was going to take about the time, so let's get the show on the road. For my personal pick for what would make a really solid DBZ game, I'm incorporating elements from like a bunch of other games, meshing it with what I like and what I think what made them successful. So, first off, the art style. I think they should use the models for the characters. I think should be based off Raging Blast 1's models. The models in there, I think, and this is what I think, look the closest to the anime we have ever gotten in a single Dragon Ball Z game. They look very, very close to it. So what you take that, and I think you should the backgrounds and various like effects, like particle effects, effects of the Kamehameha wave, bring that over from Raging Blast 2 and just combine it with the models from Raging Blast 1. So that way you have a really solid presentation on top of the anime-esque models you have going from the first game. Like the best way I can the best example I can give is this. No, actually two examples. The first is being the Fire Sun Kamehameha wave from Raging Blast 1 and 2. Raging Blast 2, it looks so fucking cool when they have the tunnel effect on the enemy just being swallowed up by it. It looks so close to what they had in the show. And then the other one is the Super Spirit Bomb. Have you seen the Super Spirit Bomb from when they have it in Raging Blast 2?
I think so, yeah.
It looks fucking gorgeous. I mean, Blast 1, it looked alright, but it was kind of still like just bland on the inside. It was just a giant white orb, which I know that's kind of what it was in the show. In Raging Blast 2, they bumped the hell out of it, and they put like some crazy wave patterns inside of it, and it's like meshing, so it looks like the supernova, the one Cooler used, but they made it in the Spirit Bomb form. That looks fucking gorgeous. So if you just take those two styles and use them together in the same game, you could have yourself a masterpiece of Dragon Ball Z gaming going on. I think that's kind of the same story as what they had in Budokai 3, where they had the cell shade style. Cell shade style? I'm not sure.
Budokai 3 was cell shaded, yes.
Yeah. You have that, and they had that, and they just blew the hell up out of all the effects. Also, kind of like what they had in Tenkaichi 3. Okay, moving on. Gameplay wise, well, yeah, Tenkaichi 3's engine, but I think they should really tweak the engine. Like, D counters were kind of impossible to do unless you played the game for like super extended period of time. So I think they should really try to like alter the system so the camera is a little more functional. Like you could like hold down the R button and it zooms out. You can press it, zooms in. In the options menu, you can freely select the distance, but honestly, I think you should just map it to freely controlling it. And also, they should do something with the fucking L1 button, because other than that explosion, it does nothing. Excuse me. The other change to the mechanics is have a more in-depth tutorial. Like, how much have you played Tekken Tag Tournament 2 so far?
I've been playing a lot of it recently.
Did you get through the combat section?
There's one section that I'm really annoyed and stuck on, but I've gotten through most of it.
Yeah, I want to come over your place. I can show you how to do it. Anyway,
right.
In Tekken Tag Tournament 2, they have a super fucking in-depth tutorial as to how to play, and they kind of meld it into a story mode of sorts. Raging Blast 1, they tried that, but it was too long and it dragged on, and you didn't know if it really stuck. It was kind of non-intuitive.
In Raging Blast 2, the tutorial is incorporated into the story in two ways. Mm-hmm. The way they tell it is kind of set up like that, with characters fighting just for the sake of training, and it also counts towards trophies, which I feel shouldn't do, because a lot of those tutorials are annoying and slow, but
yeah, basically
they try to give you some incentive to do it. Yeah.
So you make a super in-depth tutorial mode for this game, but don't make it impossible, and make it so it's very gameplay
user-friendly.
It's very user-friendly and very gameplay intensive, because I mean gameplay intensive. No, that's not the one before. Intuitive. So like you pick it up. It's kind of like how Ego Raptor was using talk about Mega Man. How the game kind of taught you its rules as you're playing it. I think something like that, while it's guiding you along the way. So it's not necessarily holding your hand; it's guiding you toward how you should play the game. And also, fucking put a combo tutorial system in there.
Yeah.
I think that's something a lot of fighting games need, period. Not necessarily like Street Fighter where you have missions and you just do crazy-ass combos, and the game expects you to know them offhand. I'm talking about like a full-on combo teaching you how to do this shit system.
Yeah, and more than what the Tekken games have, where they just show you a display of how these buttons look.
To be fair, though, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 does actually let you see the fucking combos.
I know they're good with that, and so does Revolution. But
yeah.
they'll show you how it's done, but they don't really show you all the ways you need to do to press the buttons. Because one thing I really kind of dislike about 2D fighters is the forward, backward, all around, halfway, loop to loop circle thing.
Yeah, that's a trend.
Because that's basically what it is in some games.
If you think that's bad, play Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue. It's horrendous.
No, I know Blaze Blue is really annoying because
you need to make it full 360 motion twice on one of the super moves. It's just no.
Yeah,
that's pretty much the point.
Was it the Astral Heat or was it the mini special?
Mini special, I'm pretty sure.
No.
It was Hakumen's Astral finish when he rotated around twice in order to get something. If you're gonna do that, get yourself a fucking arcade stick. The $100 makes it worth it at that point. Man.
That, and in most cases, you can use that on other fighting games. It was really annoying on some characters like Jin.
Oh yeah, well, Jin's kind of like the easy mode of the game, unless you're going for.
I know he's one of the easier characters, but it's kind of annoying where you try to do any one thing and then it ends up turning into a special in the middle of a combo when you didn't want to do that.
Are we talking about Street Fighter Cross Tekken or Tekken Tag Tournament 2?
Blaze Blue.
Oh, Blaze Blue, yeah. Fucking A. Dude, that game's gonna be rough to let's play.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, yeah, just do that. I think if you kind of did that with Raging Blast 2 and you really taught the player what the inputs were, you'd have yourself a really fucking solid engine that people could really get into. But, again, that was back when we were talking about Raging Blast 2 and making it better. So, now it's time for the story, and I think this is where, it really, I think it really gets a little intricate with how I'm going to do this. So, are
you and I gonna have a disconnect here?
No. It's not gonna take too long. Well, you mean disconnect as in our opinions or internet connection?
Opinion.
It's probably gonna be opinion, but I'm pulling a lot of shit from different games. Like, alright. So, for the skeleton of it, it should really be a combination of Budokai 3, Tenkaichi 2, and bringing in themes from Ultimate Tenkaichi. Alright, let me explain. I have this shit written right here. So, for incorporating the themes to Budokai 3, you have free exploration of the map to pick up hidden items, money, Dragon Balls, and secret fights. So you can go around and unlock shit, and it's not necessarily hidden, but it's very discreet. Although there should be like some sort of indication over the area to show you can go here and unlock stuff. So it's not just completely firing in the dark. It's like, I hope I get something. No. So you should keep hidden items that's not shown whatsoever on the map. Money that's not there whatsoever. Dragon Balls, once you pick up the Dragon Rare, it really becomes second nature at that point. I don't know how you can incorporate picking up Dragon Balls, though. That's really the thing I'm stuck on, because you can have...
Just get the radar. Just have Bulma give you the radar.
Yeah, there's radar, but...
It would be too easy, though, but it's the only way it would actually make sense.
Yeah, but there is also the way Tenkaichi 2 handle it, where if you collide with a building, a Dragon Ball actually pops out of the building after it collapses. You can go and pick it up. Tenkaichi 3...
but the annoying thing about that, though, is that if an enemy hits you into a building and they fly in the same direction of you, because it actually falls into a pixel spot on the floor, that sometimes it's hard to pick up. If the enemy flies into it, they'll pick it up and you can't get it.
Yeah, but see,
Tenkaichi I like how it wasn't Tenkaichi 3, where if you fly into, where if you get hit into a building that has it, you just automatically collect it.
Yeah, but in Tenkaichi 2, you can also freely unlock your camera, so you can just let it go around as you want and you can go pick it up. Although you are still finding a CPU at the time, I'm not sure how you go about incorporating collecting Dragon Balls into the game. That's something I'm still kind of on the fence about, but I don't know. So, moving on.
Well, is this a full 3D game, or is this a 2D game?
Full 3D game. I already said it's running off Tenkaichi 3's modified version of it. Yeah. So, incorporating themes from Tenkaichi 2 on top of what we just had from Budokai 3, give the option to visit a shop anytime whatsoever. Like, you have Baba Shop in Tenkaichi 2 where you can just go It's on the same spot on the map all the time, and it's right there. So if you ever need to pick up an item, boom, there you go. You can recruit characters into your party, so it makes it a little more open-ended, so you can freely do stuff as you want. Although, I'll get to that. And then you can trade against enemies, like I was explaining earlier, with being able to fight 5 metacoolers at the same time. It's not canonical, but who gives a shit, really? If you're playing Dragon Ball Z games at this point, you probably already know the story, and if you can't be open-minded about that, well, you're fucked. Well, if you're on that, you probably would be the character. Well, if I'm using Tien, I shouldn't be able to have any chance of fighting Omega Shenron. Fuck you.
It's funny because Tien is actually one of the best characters in the Tenkaichi / Raging Blast series.
Funny, right?
Well, if you know what items to use, he is.
Yeah. Well, if you abuse his ultimate, you can pretty much win anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, there are items. There's an item you can put into Tenkaichi 2 to where you can use his ultimate infinitely while also taking no damage from it.
I know, it's so good.
It makes him like perfect.
Yeah. And the last thing to incorporate from Tenkaichi 2 was finding random super bosses. Super bosses are really underrated in terms of what to do for games. I think they really incentivize players to get good, be able to take it on, but I don't think there should be anything mandatory for like getting a platinum trophy from getting a super boss, because if you're finding something really fucking annoying and you're going for the platinum trophy, it's probably not worth the effort to go through your trouble to get it. I mean,
yeah, but I think there should be some reward for it, not just massive experience, like some kind of item or some kind of costume or thing or something.
Yeah, there should be a reward. I'm not saying there is.
Because
I'm just saying
because I hate what games like Final Fantasy VIII do, where they'll give you 2 or 3 super bosses and you'll beat them and you'll just get and literally all you get is experience. And in the case of Omega Weapon, a little plaque in the tutorial menu of the menu called Proof of Omega. That's all you get. It's literally just an animated picture thing. It's bullshit. It's just bragging rights. So I think they should actually.
Well, 120 shine sprites in Super Mario Sunshine. Yeah, that's all I need to say. You gotta post.
But they need to give you something outside of bragging rights.
They need to give you incentives to play through it to beat the super bosses. But they all it shouldn't be mandatory to get anything. Like a good example I can give is fucking grinding to be able to take down the Adamantoids in Final Fantasy 13. You have to do that in order to get the fucking platinum trophy. That should not be a requirement. Hell no. Yeah.
Seriously? Fuck, what level did you have to be for that?
You gotta have maxed out and have some of the best items in the entire game. And it's assuming you didn't abuse death.
You can't. Well, can you abuse death on them?
But I think it's like, if you're using vanilla, it's like some crazy odd, like, you have to be playing as her, and you have to be spamming it over and over again, and eventually it'll work. It'll kill in one shot, and it does have a few 100 million hit points, I think. It's some.
That was one of the things that annoyed me about reaching Grand Pulse. The game opened up like all hell in terms of classes and whatnot, but at the same time,
like all hell.
In terms of enemies, like if you go far enough out to certain corners of the map, even fucking little cactars can murder you instantly.
Yeah, I don't like that. But then they kind of pull that a lot better Final Fantasy games too. Like Final Fantasy 7, you're flying around in the airship, and all of a sudden, boom, fucking ruby weapon. Oh shit. I don't think that should be
pointy bits.
Pointy bits. Right there. Okay. Let's move on before we start quoting Oni and G all day. So, yeah, basically, for the core elements, you just bring forth best of what Tenkaichi 2 and Budokai 3 had to offer without going a little too overboard. So moving on, I think the minigames for Infinite World were a good idea. Yes.
Well, hold on. Are we talking about extra modes now, or are we still on story?
But they shouldn't had to be.
So, like story relevant minigames then.
Story relevant, but they should be there to tell a story if you want to see it. Like the best one I can give is when you're playing as Imperfect Cell and you're running around platforming. By the way, playing as Imperfect Cell in a platforming section is really fucking hilarious. I have to say, you're just playing as this giant green beetle man just running around collecting coins. I'm like, oh god damn, this is the best DLC for Mario ever.
For first form or second?
First form. No
because
mustache.
see, I would have loved to have seen a mustachioed second form Cell running around platforming, screaming, 18! Come out! That would have been the most hilarious thing
Oh my
ever.
God.
That would make a game worth buying
Someone
just for that.
fucking mod that into a game sometimes. Don't do it for Infinite World. I will play that on the spot and I'll record that shit.
You know, one of the greatest YouTube poops is from like back in 2008 is the video of Cell screaming 18 come out, but set to the Meow Mix song.
Oh shit. Oh,
It's
shit,
a thing.
I should look up random poops of GBZ in general. I can imagine they did some really cool shit. Oh man.
But so that would be
Yeah.
awesome. And yeah, things like that would make sense. So like whenever you're on the chase for a character, or whenever someone's trying to run away, actually legitimately having to chase for them through the level.
And you can have the option, like, in one of them you can play as Trunks and Vegeta in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. You shouldn't have to play that, but you can play to, like, get money, get experience, and just have a good time. I think that was actually a real cool idea. Just, like, having a pseudo Guitar Hero-esque mode in there where you just press buttons and you can have it going like that. It's something...
The QTE training mode?
E-training? Yeah, basically.
The QTE training. Because that was basically QTE.
Yeah, it was. It's still a cool idea, though. It breaks out the monotony, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you have that and just expand on it a little bit. I'm not sure how you could expand on it. Just more variety. If you want a fucking list of mini games, just go on the Wii and like any game, and you'll be able to find something. Really.
Well, hold on, wait.
I
want to see something of a comeback of the, what was it called? Dragon Sim?
Oh yeah, Dragon Sim. That actually is a really good idea. Actually, I'm gonna go.
What was that called
Dragon
exactly?
Sim.
That was literally just called
It was
Dragon
literally called
Sim.
Dragon Sim. Yeah, right. Well, I'll go
God.
over other game modes later. I'm just talking about story mode right now. What they have in there. Although you,
But I feel like you could incorporate that, like for leveling up your characters and whatnot.
like
but
just leveling up characters, getting money, getting random items. Although nothing that should be required.
and in the way that mode had a 10-day deadline. Like for example, they're incredibly dense downtimes in DBZ that are just zoomed over like that. That I think it could be incorporated into the game, like scaled down, but incorporated into the game. Like for example, 3 years between Frieza and the android, say maybe 3 hours of in-game time spent training or doing
not bad,
something.
yeah.
Like something to make the gaps of time actually feel like something happened. Like if you know they're training in the meantime, do something with it.
Actually, that would be pretty cool. I didn't think of that before. Well, if you're gonna bring Dragon Sim back, the most important is have fucking transformations playable in the thing. Because I'm sick of having to only stick to Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta or else go on to be able to stand a chance. And I call that bullshit on that because Goku was Super Saiyan the entire time. But anyway. So, yeah, you can do that.
Oh yeah, actually, oh wait, let's do the constant Super Saiyan training from the Cell games.
Yeah.
Like for example, you have to maintain the Super Saiyan transformation for 10 days of training.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Something like that. Since I know you mentioned that during Cell Saga.
Yeah. Well, actually, that'd be cool. If you maintain a Super Saiyan form for the entire time, you get a cool bonus at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be nice. Okay, so hang on, let me reread what I have going on here. Okay, so on the first playthrough of the story mode, you should be locked to what you have equipable for costumes, for transformations, like what Tenkaichi 3 has. It tries to do that, so it locks you in, and you're basically playing the story mode 1-to-1 for what it originally was. After that, it should go with what Tenkaichi 2 did, where you can really experiment with the replayability, and you can have like crazy items equipped, crazy costumes, crazy transformations. Go Super Saiyan 3 against Cell. I was going to mention that anyway. It really should open you up to all the possibilities after you get done with the story mode the first time, instead of just keeping you hammered into what you're doing for the entire duration.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair.
Yeah, although I kind of realize it does make the idea of having a leveling system moot the first time you play the game. But I guess you can scale that, like you can only equip certain items, have a level cap like Final Fantasy 13 did. Although I'm not sure bringing inspiration from Final Fantasy 13 is the best idea in the world, but I don't know. That's neither here nor there.
Only visually, not gameplay.
Yeah, basically. Unless you summon motorcycles with girls scissoring each other, I don't know. Yeah. So, you have that. And last thing I can really bring forth for a story mode is fucking chapter select.
Yeah.
God damn
Yeah,
it.
that's-
I don't want to have to replay all of Budokai 3 again so I can go unlock medical or fuck you, game. No.
Yeah, that's one of the that's going to be one of the most important things. But the problem is that would get directly in the way of your overworld travel.
I suppose so, but
Yeah.
Tenkaichi 2 also did that, and it worked for the most part. Where
The problem with that though is that Tenkaichi 2's version of it, depending on your point of view, sucked. It was really bland. You couldn't really do much of anything with it. You can buy items, and that was pretty much it.
Well, I'm not talking about it in itself. I'm just talking about the ability to select a chapter and go immediately to it. Where then it'd have a pre-loaded overworld so you can explore around in it, see what you can find, and do whatever you want from there. That's
Wait, hold on. I have an idea actually.
Okay.
Mix those two together. Count a chapter as like a full arc. When you start one, you're playing. You can view on the map like from the entire arc. You can do whatever you want, but you're just going through the entirety of that arc until the end. No selecting any other chapters until you finished it.
I have a cool idea.
Go for it.
You do that, but for various things you do, like recruiting characters, between arcs you lose your characters, but you can go out, explore, and find them again, and they're leveled up, and then you can bring it back into your party.
Huh.
That would be cool. So
kind of like finding, playing as Piccolo versus 18 or 17, and then right before Cell shows up, finding Tien, and then taking over as Tien, and then Tien losing to Cell, and then going back into the Buu Saga, and then Gohan finding Tien again, and then Tien losing to Super Buu, but while being stronger that time.
yeah, basically. Although I like how you had Tien lose twice in there.
Well, he's the only one I can think of who appears. You would find the once who actually did something the first time, appears the second time, and then did something both times.
Yeah.
He wasn't very successful, but at least he was able to do things.
Yeah, although I don't think you should have to bring character. You should have to go out and find characters in order to make certain events happen in the story, because that just makes it a little monotonous. Although with the chapter select, that would alleviate a little bit. I'm not sure. That's really all I have in terms of the story mode in and of itself. We still have the Raging Blast 1 models, Raging Blast 2 engine, and incorporating all the best things about the story modes from Budokai 3 and Tenkaichi 2. There's really nothing else I could think of in that department that I'm missing out on.
Okay. Well, I guess closing off on story, what other modes would you include?
Well, I'm going to keep all the content to after I talk about what's coming up right now.
All right.
Alright, so this had to get mentioned sometime, but I'm going to talk about the score. I'm no music composer. I'm really not. So I couldn't give you a professional opinion as to which soundtrack was the best, but in my personal opinion, I think it should be a tie, or not necessarily borrowing tracks, but borrowing the themes from like Tenkaichi 2 or Budokai 3. I mean that as in Tenkaichi 2 and Budokai 3 soundtracks were very they did a lot of cool things with it. They were sure as hell memorable too. That's the really
Wait, which Tenkaichi did you say?
Tenkaichi 2. Tenkaichi
Yeah,
3, I think
Tenkaichi
it
2.
does. Tenkaichi
It has
3,
a
yeah.
few good tracks, but not many of them. Tenkaichi 2 has a lot of those ones that gets you pumped up.
Tenkaichi 2 has a lot of cool shit going for it. Like, I can
Crisis. One of
I
my
could-
favorites is Crisis.
Let's see, Corn's Tower, Gatebreaker, Battalion, Dark Mind. No, wait, what was it? Dark Mind? Open Skies. There was a lot of cool shit. Which is,
I remember the songs, but I can't remember too many of them by name. But one of my favorite ones by far is Crisis.
oh yeah, definitely. That goes without saying. Also, one when Bardock was fighting Frieza. That cool score they had going on.
Yeah. So basically do kind of what they did with the Budokai HD collection, where they just took tracks from the entirety of the Tenkaichi series,
Yeah.
mixed them all around, and put them in both games.
That was the point I was actually going to get to. Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Have you tried out any of the sound adjustments so you can put like any song from any game in any menu, or any of the stage is?
No, I haven't. I haven't gotten any of that music DLC.
Oh, well, you don't necessarily have to download it. You can
Well, aside from the one you already had, I didn't get any of them.
Okay, so you can do that, or just being able to like freely select any song to play.
Well, is that already a
any menu.
feature, or do you have to buy the DLC music?
Oh, it's already a feature. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh, then I don't know how to do that. I haven't done that yet.
It's in one of the main menu features. I forget what it is. Tekken Tunes. That's what it is. You select that, and you can go around and select whatever you want.
Huh.
And then going with that, you can purchase past soundtracks like Tenkaichi 2, Tenkaichi 3, Budokai 3, Ultimate Tenkaichi because Ultimate Tenkaichi has some good songs. I'm not going to deny it.
Mm-hmm.
Although the one that's like no, it's literally just like the most high pitched guitar notes playing for like the first 30 seconds. Like god damn it, no.
An idea I had is that an original soundtrack to this game, but with the option of going back to like that what you were saying.
Yeah.
Like for example, what a lot of the recent Final Fantasy remakes have done, like Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy 3 DS, where you can switch it. From arranged mode, which is the rearranged and recomposed music, to the original NES's music or SNES's
that's cool.
music.
That's really cool.
You can. Yeah, they have that in the recent remakes of 4 Complete Collection and 3 DS version.
Yeah. So I think you should really.
So things like that, though, where you can have an original soundtrack, but you can also, if you want to, you can switch it to a previous compilation of the same existing tracks from previous games.
Yeah. Let's not forget the City of Final Fantasy also, which is a godlike score and how they handle the soundtrack too.
Yeah.
Freely being able to select any song to play on any stage is great. That is so fucking good. They also pull that in Tenkaichi 3. So there you have it. You can do that for... No, actually they've been doing that in a lot of past DBZ games where you can just freely select what song to play on what stage. Or at least
I think they took that. I think they did. I think they took that out of the Raging Blast, at least as far as I know.
No, it was in both Raging Blasts, I remember.
Well, no, I know it was in Blast 2, but I don't remember it being in Blast 1.
It was in Blast 1.
I'll take your word for it.
Right.
But it definitely was not in Burst Limit. That much I know for fact.
Yeah, Burst Limit.
That said, I don't think there was anything actually memorable in Burst Limit outside of its awesome opening.
Well, did Burst Limit have any memorable scores, or did they borrow soundtracks from that one?
It had its own soundtrack, but I don't think but clearly it shows that if I can't think of any, that it didn't have any truly memorable tracks, because the only thing I'm remembering from it is the opening. And I played a lot of...
The opening's pretty good.
Like, the opening is kick-ass. Song-wise, I think it's one of the best ones they've ever had.
I think... I'm not sure about this, but I think... Yeah, Shin Budokai also had its own original soundtrack, and that was also pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
Especially the opening theme song. That one was amazing. Alright, so... yeah, just keep a very versatile and well-composed soundtrack going for it. You can use any instruments you want. Rock. Well, try not to focus too much on rock, because I think that's what is kind of an Achilles heel of Tenkaichi 3. It's too focused on the rock music.
Yeah, it doesn't have... It's so much about the action. It doesn't try very hard with the atmosphere.
Yeah, it really needs a lot more atmosphere, even though it is very action-centric compared to the other games. But, anyway. The last thing I want to mention for the soundtrack is... maybe remix this Dubs music like Legacy of Goku 2? I don't know. They got away with it then for Boo's Fury, which by Boo's Fury, Super Saiyan 3 soundtrack, awesome.
That's because all of the Game Boy Advance games, aside from Supersonic Warriors, were literally produced in America, like all of them.
Yeah.
Even Taiketsu.
And Legacy of Goku 1. Well, Taiketsu also had some of the Bruce Faulconer score, and surprisingly,
exactly.
The soundtrack is what's the best part of Taiketsu. Besides being able to look at and laugh at it like a poor Killer Instinct knockoff.
You can only hope.
Oh my god, I can only wait until I should just fucking record some Taiketsu tomorrow so I can show you guys how bad it is. I'm on the fence about that, so you can do that. What was I about to say? Oh, yeah. You know the concept of, like, music covers, right? How you can do them yourself, excuse me, and you can sell them without getting in trouble with, like, people who do copyright shit and stuff like that, right?
I don't think you can sell them because the profit that you're making out off of someone else's thing.
It is, but it's your own original take on it. So I guess that can technically be considered it like.
No, because there are a lot of people because to this day fan dubbers on YouTube are still getting blocked and sued.
Oh well, fuck. I don't know. Well, that's because they're using the footage. It's not because they're doing the original soundtrack.
People that literally just have still images.
Oh, well, that's a visual thing, not an audio thing.
No, but even if it's just fan art or just a regular picture.
Fan art, fuck.
Yeah, seriously. Like even if they just use a fan art with just listing of who the song is, etc., they still get taken down and sued.
Oh,
that's the annoying thing is, have you ever gone through YouTube's copyright school? It's a load of bullshit.
Oh yeah, it really is bullshit. But then again, that's getting into the whole copyright bullshit, and that's not something I like to think about.
Something for another day, but yeah.
Note to self: take down all of my YouTube videos. Oh man, so yeah, soundtrack. That's basically all I got. Now it's really time to my Windows. Would you please move? Okay, thank you. Now it's time for the real meat and potatoes. Yeah, meat and potatoes. Meat and potatoes is a game that I had to scour a whole bunch of different games, even Ultimate Tenkaichi, which I don't really get into. I haven't played it yet. I'm looking at it right now on my fucking shelf, and I can't play it. Son of a bitch. Anyway.
Next time you come by, you should lend that to me. I've been wanting to play that one for 2 years.
If I do that, can I get Hyperdimension Neptunia 1 back?
When's the next chance you're going to be able to get on that?
Good point. Never mind. As a matter of fact, you should just hang on to my entire PS3 library for, I don't know, past Christmas. Yeah, anyway, so time for the overall content, like all the game modes, all the things that should be included, that would be great. First of all, fucking story viewers. If there's any cutscenes at all in this game that are worthwhile or worth watching, like what Burst Limit 1 had, what Budokai 1 had, throw them in there so you can freely fucking watch them anytime you want. Or, shit, Infinite World 1 had... Infinite World 1, there wasn't a sequel. Infinite World had a lot of original cutscenes in there that weren't in Budokai 3. Which are okay to look at, but they're kind of just suffering from Funimation syndrome, and they're kind of very abridged and don't do a lot. But anyway, just have a story viewer so you don't have to replay shit in order to rewatch it. That's basically what I'm getting at. By the way, I should totally just have like a download random ass videos from past games so you can rewatch like Super Saiyan Goku coming out for the first time against Frieza. Did I just say coming out for the first time? Fuck me. What are you, gay? Yeah. That was an oddly perfect joke. Anyway. Then again, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 also had the ability to download past, like, movie endings for characters. Like, just not a lot of money, but you can do that. And, dude, some of the game's credit, some of them do have pretty cool endings, so I don't know.
Lars. But I think most of why that worked for Tekken Tag 2 was that for the most part, that was mostly an anniversary game.
It really was, yeah.
And as what is by now probably the best best game as a whole, I think it works well for that because it's a collective, because it has like every character that's ever appeared in the series, including characters that have never appeared before.
I like how you've been doing your research into Tekken now.
I played that one, and honestly, while we're on the topic of games and shit, I also kind of want to try out Tekken 6, but...
Tekken 6 is a pretty good game. It's not as beefy as Tekken 6, or Tekken Tag Tournament 2, but it's still pretty good. By the way, I have Tekken 5 if you want to give that a shot. It's solid. I'd say it's one of the best PS2 fighting games. Anyway. It just lacks a balance system. That sucks. Alright, so moving on, it should obviously have a museum of some kind, but I think they should really buff it. Like,
yeah,
you have your character bios, which naturally you always have full 3D model viewers. I'm not talking about like just being able to view like the characters themselves. I think you should be able to like take a camera and just have free roam of looking around everywhere on a stage at any given time. Just like, ooh, Grandpa Gohan's house looks pretty cool.
If I may.
Sure, go for it.
I want them to take and add on the gallery mode from the recently released One Piece Pirate Warriors 2. That gallery is amazing.
How good is the gallery?
They have Excuse me.
Bless you.
They have bios for all the playable characters, in addition to terms, names, and items of everything else that's in the series and relevant. A picture viewer, a cutscene viewer, a full cutscene viewer, an item viewer to just look at all the items you have in game.
Oh my god, that's awesome!
Like all your equip items and such. A full 3D model viewer. A costume viewer, where you can look at them all individually, and my favorite that I don't think I've ever seen in any game before, a full 3D model attack viewer. You can look at a selected list of every attack that character has in game and view all of their animations.
Oh wow, that's good. Well,
it is amazing. It's beautiful. The best part about how it works in One Piece Pirate Warriors 2 is that it even works for the NPCs. For the bosses, for the support characters.
No way.
You can use it for literally every character that appears in-game. It's perfect.
That is gorgeous.
And added on to some of the ones that DBZ already has.
Reviewing of beams.
Yeah.
Wow.
That would count into the attack viewer. But additionally, though, like for example, one of my favorite things is Chi-Chi's character comments. Those in Tenkaichi 3 are hilarious.
They really are, yeah.
So have that for the expanded thing for every character, every form, everything.
Oh my god, that'd be great. Chi-Chi's voice actor's getting a good workout that day. Yeah, and the last thing I want to mention about the museum is kind of borrowing from Smash Bros. A little bit, but it's kind of going into what you were talking about earlier, trophy collection. Where you have like a whole bunch of items, a whole bunch of random bullshit from the Dragon Ball Z universe entirely. Because let's face it, there's a lot of random bullshit you can include.
Regular model viewer, but additionally, the gallery mode from Bleach Soul Resurrection. We have the characters designed like trophies.
Yeah, I'm talking about something like that. That would be cool to look at.
Like not just the characters standing, but like in their battle poses.
Yeah, I was gonna give mention to just like Brawl's free screwing around with the trophies, but I don't think anyone really used that outside of like just posting stuff on the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection so people could download it. But really, that thing shut down like 3 years ago, which is like too because I like some of those stages. I can't believe I didn't think about that till now. Being able to create your own fucking stages in a Dragon Ball Z game, although it really ultimately would just be more of like gimmicks, so you can just have like background props, but that's about it. I
don't think that would work as well in a fully 3D game.
Probably not, no.
Like, taking into account, for example, the stage creator from Brawl, it would only work on 2D because you wouldn't be able to get a full grasp of it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, but I also have this game sitting down there. It's a racing game, so it's not necessarily in the same ballpark, but it's this game called... Fuck, I forgot what his name is right now. I'll look it up later. What it has is basically advertised as like an F-Zero game / Wipeout, but it includes a full ability to create any kind of customized tracks you want. Like, I've experimented with it. It doesn't really have any given limits of any sorts. Like, the size could be anything you fucking want. So I think if you kind of, not necessarily the racing elements, but just having like a super amount of freedom to be able to customize any stage you want with like changing the colors, changing the way things look, random background items. I think that'd be really cool, but I'm not sure how that look on like really intricate levels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I just came up with this idea right now, so I'll have to elaborate a little bit more. Anyway.
I just had a thought.
What's that?
A level creator would absolutely destroy the Call of Duty franchise.
Yeah, right? Oh, man. That's glorious.
It would destroy any and all future installments.
Alright, I think there was one first-person shooter game that had something of a level creator. I can't remember it.
Halo?
Not Gmod. Wait, what? Oh,
Halo?
Halo, that was it. Well, I think there was something else, but Halo, yeah.
It's most prevalent in Halo 3.
Yeah. I haven't gotten Halo 3. That's on my bucket list. Whenever I get myself a fucking 360. After I get myself an Xbox original. Alright, so the next one on the list is, of course, a sound test. But more like Dissidia, where you can have music playable, sound effects, and the voice acting.
Did they have sound effects in Dissidia? I thought it was just just voice acting and music.
I don't think it did have sound effects, but sound effects are something that's
That'd be a
incorporated
good
in a
idea.
lot of other games like Blaze Blue and
I think one of the best examples of that is actually the Bleach Heat the Soul series, because they have, like, even for a game as small as that on the PSP,
yeah.
and it really is kind of small, they have like 70 to 100 original sound effects that they use for that, and it works pretty well.
Nice.
So you have
I'll give it a listen sometime. That's pretty cool.
So you have that interspersed with all of it.
Yeah. Of course, you have the voices, both Japanese and English.
English and Japanese.
Yeah.
What I think would work well is for example, the recent take on, and I know it's annoying because the DBZ games mostly release only in America, Japan, and Europe to only English and Japanese voiceover.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of bad because there are actually national dubs for each country. Like there is a Spanish dub, Spanish
dub. Oh no.
German dub, a French dub, etc.
Ocean dub.
That too.
They still have those. It's crazy. They actually publish stuff like up to the Boo Saga.
They actually finished it in full. And I actually heard 2 years ago that they were trying to get the license to do an Ocean dub of Kai.
Ooh. Well, they did do an Ocean dub re-release for the original series. Like, I only know that they did that on DVDs up to like when Goku beat the shit out of Raccoon. Anyway, that's different discussion for another day. But yeah. Ocean dub, that'd be cool.
So my idea is, yes, quite. But for fully international release, we're working on the heels of Pokemon X and Y. Well, while that game it has no dialogue, when you first boot up the game, it gives you the option of 6 to 10 different languages.
Hot shit.
To set it up in, so that the cartridge is completely international. The only
Nice.
problem is that the 3DS is actually itself is region locked, but if it wasn't, you can put in a Pokemon X or Y cartridge from any region in the world, and you would have no problem playing it at all.
Nintendo, they really gotta get off the bandwagon of region locking and embrace what Sony's and Microsoft's doing. Well, Microsoft kind of can't really do anything about that because the Xbox isn't really popular anywhere outside of Japan, or no, outside of America. I'm getting my companies backwards.
You know what the funny thing is? The original DS actually isn't region locked. It's the 3DS that is.
I'm not surprised about that because the DS originally doesn't have that crazy amount of like system on it. It was just kind of like an upgraded Game Boy Advance with a menu. That's about it.
Originally, yeah, until the DSi came out.
Yeah, that happened.
But so a completely international release with all language dubs on there, or at least as many as would seem important to fit on there. Spanish, German, French, etc.
If nothing else, just have the Ocean dubs as DLC. I know Funimation would technically be making profit off it, but they can split the profits with the Ocean dubs because, really, I think Ocean kind of needs the money right now.
Yeah. You know what's actually really funny in hindsight now that I'm looking at it is, and I know this is unrelated, but Dynasty Warriors 7 originally released in I think 2009, 2010. It had an English dub on it only. Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends came out a year later, and that was dub only. Dynasty Warriors 7 Empires, which is the one with the character creator, which I love, came out this spring, digital only with Japanese only to PS3. Dynasty Warriors 8 came out this summer to English dub only, and I recently found out today that you can actually download for free a 2 GB file for Dynasty Warriors 8 to have the entire Japanese audio track on there.
Wow.
So that's actually a decent idea for an afterthought, would be alternate language free DLC.
That is pretty fucking cool.
But for a game as big as Dynasty Warriors 8, and it's fucking massive, it was a 2 GB file just for the audio.
Shit. Weren't you the one with the 60 GB hard drive space? You should probably upgrade that bitch to a 500 gig at some point. Just get a 500 gigabyte SATA hard drive and you're good.
No, my PS3's hard drive is 250, which after I had to
anime backups.
After I had to after the hard drive wiped.
I had to fuck.
After the hard drive got corrupted and I had to delete everything off it. I decided, fuck it, I'm just going to put games on there. If I want to watch any anime, I'll just put it on my 32 gigabyte flash drive.
Yeah, that
I'm
works.
not going to bother with losing all that data again. If I'm going to deal with that again, it'll be with games that I can fully re-download without problem.
Yeah. How are you enjoying Infamous, by the way?
I've actually only played a small amount of that because I've had other crap to deal with, and the person that played that actually wasn't me. That was a friend of mine.
Oh.
They were having a shit ton of fun with the red lightning.
Oh yeah, dude. Actually, I probably shouldn't be spoiling this for you right now, but at one point in the game, when you have the red lightning, you can actually do something, and it'll upgrade you the black lightning. Like, it looks just like Ichigo's Getsuga Tensho's.
Awesome.
Like, it's black, it has the red aura. It's really fucking cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, you should totally play the game. Just bear in mind, it's Infamous 1 is a little rugged in the physics department because it's the first in the series. Infamous 2 is a lot better. Anyway, we should talk about Infamous another day. Okay. So,
Yeah, but we're still on gallery, right?
No, we're moving on from gallery.
I mean, we were still on gallery.
Oh yeah.
All the stuff from
one more thing I want to add to the sound test. You can throw in unused voice clips, like the city had, and I noticed Budokai 3 kind of had, where they had like the voice actors kind of pseudo recreate certain events from the series. But that was only when you lock them under certain circumstances. It was kind of bullshit to go through all that.
Yeah. You know, I swear to this day, Dissidia Duodecim is still finding things to confuse me with.
Really?
Many times I've gone in bored and just listened to every character's complete set of audio clips,
Damn.
and then I would go back like after getting the DLC, and apparently somehow just that costume DLC would add in new voice clips that I swear to God were not there before.
Nice.
And that confused the hell out of me because this happened multiple times. Like, I got the DLC the once, and then even multiple times later of playing the game, new audio clips would randomly just appear there. That game is trying to fuck with me.
It seems like it, yeah.
But so yeah, unused audio and stuff for the game.
Yeah, just random stuff that if they have to cut anything out, they can throw it in there. Like, I don't even fucking care if they had just put in goofs there of just the voice actors screwing around, because that would be pretty fucking cool in itself. Like, coming to mind is the Ratchet and Clank series. How it's called the Insomniac Museum, where you can actually take like a tour of like the offices, kind of, where you can see like unused models, unused artwork. Some developer interviews, how they put together the game. The Ratchet and Clank games are really in depth with how
Nice.
they let you into the world of the developers and let you see how they put things together. It's really fucking cool. So if you're into game developing at all, I recommend giving it a shot. Or looking into it. It's really cool. Anyway,
Did I ever tell you about that bonus DVD that came with the limited edition of Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3?
you
That's
just mentioned it, but you didn't say anything about it.
what it is it's basically a behind the scenes of production of the dub of the game, which shows you the experience of all the actors coming in and dubbing the game, and how insane Budokai 3 was to work on for Chris Sabat, because apparently for that game that he had 2 weeks to produce the whole game on.
Oh shit!
He got maybe 20 hours of sleep throughout the whole 2 weeks.
I can see why. Damn.
And one of these scriptwriters or directors had a binder with the script for the entire game that said that the script of this was bigger than the entire Godfather trilogy.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Damn.
You would like
Hey,
that. That was
do
a
you have
full
the DVD
half-hour
still?
video.
Do you still have that DVD?
But I don't have the DVD, but it's on YouTube.
Oh, we should totally do it. Let's watch it sometime. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so that's really fucking cool, actually. Alright, so what I'm going to get into right now is kind of really heavily... you've seen this probably argued before, but I think it needs to be addressed. Really upgrading the character customization that was used in Ultimate Tenkaichi.
Yeah.
You have a character customization, you're really going to go far with it. It really is a huge driving force of any game if you do it right. Soul Calibur is a huge user of character customization. Tekken is starting to incorporate it, but more so in like the original characters instead of just your own original stuff. Although I can imagine there's going to be a day when you can create your own characters. But
I've been having some fun with the customize in Tekken.
yeah, it's just really fucking expensive to buy anything. That's the only hard part.
All the things in there are really expensive, but I've had some fun recreating some anime characters.
Yeah, I like creating my own original brigade of cool dudes.
The Power Ranger costumes are
Namco's
fun.
like really weird with the stuff they put in there. Just the most abstract shit.
Namco owns the right TV series.
No.
Yes.
Wow, that's cool.
They produced them. They produced them and the toys.
That's sick. I thought it was someone else who did that. Apparently not. Yeah, so, you really blow the fuck up out of the original character customization. I mean, putting in genders, different species, able to actually use fucking multiple levels of Super Saiyan, because really, only being able to go Super Saiyan 1 is kind of lame. Assuming you could even do that to begin with.
I think it depends on the use of the character. Don't give them that by default. Have them play throughout the entirety of their own story mode before giving them the ability to go Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah, well, I'm not
Put them through some real endurance.
I'm not saying you should have that immediate, like, right off the bat. I'm saying, like, you have Gotenks who can go Super Saiyan 1, but he jumps right to Super Saiyan 3. You have characters like Super Vegito who have their own original transformations. I'm saying, like, you should kind of limit it, but you can really give him room to work with at the same time. Like, sort of the transformations back from Budokai 3, where you can equip a certain amount of slots, and then however high you go is the amount of transformations you can get. Although, again...
No, wait. Hold on. The capsule system from Infinite World, where the one capsule sets for all transformations, but instead with the tweak, you can set the capsule to limit at which one you want.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like
you can individually limit the capsule,
like deliberately limit it so you can get yourself slots back. That'd be cool.
No, but in Infinite World, it is just one capsule for all transformations. That was the nice thing about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, limiting it to, like, for example, that one capsule, instead of going for Goku all the way to Super Saiyan 4, limit it to only Super Saiyan 2 or something.
Yeah. All again, transformations, everything post B3 doesn't really give you any deliberate stat bonuses. It just alters your moves. Although it does make your alternate moves so they're better in terms of melee.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still trying to hammer that one out. I'm not sure where exactly you can go with that. Maybe so you can have, like, different levels of, like, melee stats. Like, you have like Super Saiyan 1 Goku's melee damage. Melee 2, you can have Super Saiyan 2 Goku's melee set there, which is pretty substantial. Super Saiyan 3, where you can have a fucking rolling hammer, heavy finish, instant transmission, teleportation, combos all over the fucking place, ping pong, boom, boom. Yeah, something like
I want Goku to, in any game, have the attack he used against Majin Buu, where he was grabbing him by the head hair thing, and he kept on punching it like a paddle ball.
Oh my god, best grab ever. This is why we need Tenkaichi 3 back. We can have that grab in there.
Like, put that in there instead of the fucking dragon throw.
Oh yeah, considering all forms of Goku ever have the dragon throw. And it really he doesn't use it that much in the show, I noticed. He only uses it a couple times, and that's it.
Like, the only time I know of that he ever actually used it was against Final Form Frieza.
Yeah, that's the immediate one that comes to mind too, because I know he didn't use it against Cell. He did use it against Fat Boo, but that was by, like, his head tentacle thing. That's about it. I know it's a stable back in, like, today, but I don't know, because I still haven't watched Dragon Ball the original, but So
just need to get on that.
Yeah, I'll get on that someday. Alright, I was doing a little research on this, how you can, in some supers, like, if you have Super, Android 17 Super, you can have him recreate it exactly, so he does the full animation, and it includes Android 18 popping in and helping him out. Or with Android 18, you can do that finishing move like he used to kill Future Gohan. Damn it. I really like the idea of having tag team supers just come out of fucking nowhere. I think that's a really cool mechanic. I think they could really elaborate on that.
Oh wait, no, hold on. Are you talking about having him being able to use that attack individually, but say, for example, having her being on his team and then that powering up his attack, or
no,
do you mean making that as a tag attack specifically, exclusively?
It's not just, well, maybe it would be. I'm talking more about. Actually, I'm not sure. I know when you do that, you don't necessarily have a tag mechanic in Tenkai and Ultra Tenkaichi. They just come out of nowhere because that's part of the super.
Well, the tag system kind of works better in Raging Blast 2.
Yeah.
With that.
Yeah, I
because you can swap between them freely. I think in Ultimate Tenkaichi you need to actually have a set amount of energy or spirit or something in order to do any of that, because you need something besides energy to do your specials.
Yeah. Well, actually, you have a point there. They did have that Raging Blast 1 too, so I think, yeah, they could definitely elaborate on that a lot. Maybe like tag team beam attacks, like with Vegeta and Goku going cheek to cheek to blast Super Boo. Saying it's cheek to cheek in battle. How disgraceful!
I love that.
I know that's a real cool mechanic. I think they should definitely incorporate more of. And the last point, that's really all the changes I can see made to the character customization. Outside of that, I know they're doing this in Battle Z, but physical customization of regular characters. Like, being able to alter the color schemes, I know they're doing that. Because I've seen some weird color schemes for Cell lately. I was like, oh, finally, they did that.
You mean outside of blue?
Outside of blue. Outside of shiny Cell appearing and be able to catch him. No.
I'm with the shiny Cell. I like the shiny Cell.
I know, right? He just looks really fucking ugly with his base form. Ew. And then Super Perfect form rolls around. Oh, hell yeah, I'm catching this bitch. Yeah. So that's really all I can think of for actual like customization of characters. For items, either.
Hold on, wait. I'm thinking maybe depending on how much they change over time, being able to incorporate, say for example, appearance of them from one portion with their attacks from another. Like for example, finally a game having adult Goten with anything really, adult Goten appearing in a game to match future Trunks. And then, for example, future Trunks and Goten being able to fuse or something into an adult Gotenks.
That actually, I'm surprised they haven't done that yet in the game. What if future Gotenks? That'd be sick. They didn't do that. Although I can imagine there's quite a bit of power difference between Trunks and Goten at that point.
Well, I mean, like... Well, I say future Trunks because there's not really any need outside of a costume swap to put GT Trunks in, is there? Considering how much of a bitch GT Trunks was?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you know what? I just said that previous statement, and I just realized Goku's able to fuse with Vegeta, even though Goku could technically go Super Saiyan 3 and Vegeta couldn't. So, my previous statement is retracted. It's kind of funny. The whole I just realized that nullifies Goku's statement of how two people need to be of equal power levels to fuse. That's bullshit.
It's not that they needed to be exactly equal, it's that they needed to scale to each other to an even equilibrium.
Yeah. Because
Trunks was stronger than Goten as it was, he just needed to use less of his power when they were doing that.
Yeah, true.
Like, they needed to reach a balance. They didn't need to be permanently equal.
Yeah. That's a cool idea. We should totally think of some more what-if fusions, like if Goku actually fused with Ultimate Gohan.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Remember, that Patara is permanent, so think about that.
Oh, just for the match. I'm not talking about, like, indefinitely.
I know, but I meant, like, if that actually happened. And my personal favorite, the return of Gokyo.
Oh, fuck yes.
And I guess maybe the creation of...
Dende and Goku?
Yeah.
No.
And it makes me sad that it never happened because he was unconscious, but the idea of Goku and Tien... That would have been fun.
That would have been cool, yeah. Especially we already had Yamcha and Tien fuse.
Return of Tiancha.
Oh, fuck yeah. Tiancha was sick.
If you ever actually played Budokai 2, he's actually pretty good.
I did. I've seen him being used, and he's got a pretty cool moveset. Especially Wolfang Volleyball Fist. That thing is cool to look at. He's got Donorei Kamehameha, I think. It was really weird. I'll have to go back. I actually had to play fucking Budokai 2. I've barely touched it. Damn. And I own it right now. Do I own it? No.
You know, I was thinking of something from about 10 minutes ago that I completely forgot about until right now. I'm just going to bring this up now that I forgot about. You know how you were talking about unused audio clips?
Yeah.
I just had a flashback, since you mentioned it, to the gallery mode in Bleach Shattered Blade.
They have a gallery mode in that bitch?
Yeah, but the funny thing is that they have a character viewer and all that, 3D models, costumes, etc. But what they also have is a music player, but they also have a full voice player. So one of the things I love you can do is that you can go into the gallery and set any character you want to appear on the menu to read out the main menu to you.
Ooh, that's cool.
But additionally, they have two things where, for example, the Bleach logo will appear as part of the logos when the game's starting up, and the character will say Bleach. But additionally, if you wait long enough, or it's either in the unused or in there, but they'll say Bleach, we, and then they'll say some extended thing, and my personal favorite one is Grimmjow. You know when Grimmjow first appeared in front of Ichigo and kicked his ass as he was leaving, saying that how you would be no match for me in my release form?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to quote this on here, don't hold it against me, but it's one of my favorite things ever. You're so pathetic. you can't even get up anymore. Even if you could fling your Wiimote indefinitely, you would never be able to match me. And
Wow.
even in my release form, your Wii remote will never compare to mine.
Okay, that sells it. I need to fucking play that game tomorrow.
It's amazing.
Apparently this game has more things going for it than I gave it credit for. Yes.
People overlook that game because of its somewhat shallow gameplay, which again I still find fun, but God, does it have so much more beneath the surface.
Apparently. Sweet. Alright, so now we got that out of the way. Going for the item system, it should either be what they use in Raging Blast 1 or Tenkaichi 3, because both of them were pretty balanced in their own ways. Like, Raging Blast 1, yeah, you can get some really overpowered shit, but if they wanted to, they could just, like, scale some of the items, so it's a little more balanced, but let's be honest, unbalanced shit is really fucking fun, especially in offline mode, or even better, online. If you're gonna play online, you better expect to run into some cheap shit.
And that's why there are multiple online modes, normal and custom. That's what those are for.
Basically, yeah. And then Tenkaichi, third game, had a much better customization system than what 2 had.
Yeah. That one you could actually set your character to fight completely different ways and endure completely different ways rather than just, oh, stats here, stats there.
Basically, yeah. I mean, that's not to say Tenkaichi 2 didn't have a lack of items. It had some stuff. I say some. But then again,
minimal amount.
Tenkaichi 3 had so much variety going for it.
Minimalistic. Trust me, in Tenkaichi 3 and any of the non-story modes, once you got super armor, you were invincible.
Basically, yeah. That is great.
Especially, and I feel like just having super armor would have made dealing with Sim Dragons so much better.
Yeah. Well, you can get it as a random Z item pickup in it, so you can do that.
Yeah, but you're allowed to get 3 items in Sim Dragon, but they don't tell you what they are. They just says you have items.
Oh, going back to that, they should totally remove the random factor for powering up in Sim Dragon, because just being able to randomly power up and then lose all your shit all at once because you overtrained yourself. I think there should be some indication as to what you can actually do in that if you're gonna train one specific stat.
I like the idea of going too far, but I don't like the idea of your training being worthless.
I don't like the idea of just getting 4 days in a row of shit training.
Yeah, that was the problem I have, is you train for a long time and your stats go down. I like the idea of your stats go up, but when you finally go into battle, you're at lower health. That makes sense, kind of.
That does make sense, yeah. All it doesn't make sense how you do that and your health's lowered. But if you rest, your stats lower. I'm like, there's no equilibrium here.
It means you're out of practice.
Apparently. Yeah. Alright, so use every one of those item systems. They're both really good, and if you just build on it, you got something pretty cool. Although I shout out to Infinite World because that did also have a pretty cool system. And how you can equip one transformation item and you're free to do whatever the hell you want with the rest of it.
Yeah.
I should totally pick up Infinite World again because it feels so balanced compared to Budokai 3, but it's so watered down at the same time.
Yeah, it does remove a lot of gameplay.
Yeah, so
But the 2 as recent games actually have somewhat bad customization. Raging Blast 2 and Ultimate Tenkaichi have pretty bad.
Yeah.
Ultimate Tenkaichi's is worse because you're limited to literally 3 slots and that's it. Raging Blast 2 is set to you have 10 slots, but each item takes a certain amount of points, and you have a point limit.
However, you can equip stat downs to give yourself more slots.
But the problem is, you don't. If you're gonna do that, you can make it work, but you don't have enough slots for it.
No.
So it's basically a hybrid of Tenkaichi 2 and 3's customization, and it's not the kind that you would want it to be. It doesn't work nearly as well as it should.
Going to that, they should totally remove the function of going to the ceiling system. Like, you have to have Seal start fight with 1 HP. They should totally get rid of that. That was bullshit. Because if you're
like that idea, it makes sense, but you can have items to make your health go back to normal.
Yeah, but
additionally, what you can do is that when your health is low, your stats go way the fuck up, so that it doesn't matter as long as either you get the first blast or you get the first combo, and you're set for life.
Yeah, that's true, but if you don't have the item, you have to go hunt through the other story modes in order to actually get it.
Not necessarily, because the weirdest thing about Raging Blast 2 to me is that unlocking things is completely and absolutely random.
It is?
I beat regular 17 story mode about halfway through the game, and it just gave me Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, like out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's true. I think some of them are scripted, but yeah, I think the rest of them are random.
So it's the same thing with items, really. They just kind of give you them.
Alright.
I think most of the time they're just things you get as conditions for victory.
Yeah.
Like, you get them as rewards.
Alright, so moving on from that, definitely bring back a good amount of the game modes that were in Raging Blast 1, along with Tenkaichi 3's missions. I couldn't really think of any missions or like game modes from BT2, but definitely something like Corn's Tower, which, although it is kind of just a Sim Dragon, just in a slightly different version, I like the idea of just running a gauntlet of enemies straight and just being able to get through all of them.
I want a survival, and a truly enhanced survival. 100 characters or so, and well, did Blast 1 and 2 have survival? I don't think Blast 2 had survival.
Blast 1 did have survival, but it capped off at 50, and since the AI was so pathetically weak to begin with, it didn't really matter.
Yeah, also, back to what we were saying like 2 hours ago, was give us a game that gives us challenge, a lot of it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Make those extra Zs that you can unlock worth something.
Oh, hell yeah. That's definitely up there.
What I think you should do, though, is have the normal game modes, game difficulties at the start, but give you Z1 as a start, just to see if you want to go beyond. And if you can handle it, and if it's worth it, go beyond that and unlock the extra Z2 and Z3.
I don't think I really have to mention this, but they definitely should not bring back the idea of having to replay story missions multiple times to be able to unlock everything, and then you can then actually unlock shit. That was bad.
Yeah.
That was really bad programming.
That was part of what That brings me to part of what I liked about Tenkaichi 3 is that after the main characters you got from the story, buying items literally came down to money and nothing else. You don't have to worry about conditions or anything.
Yeah.
As for characters, they're just randomly interspersed throughout the tournaments. And the tournaments are fun as they are, so you're going to have fun unlocking them naturally anyways. The most annoying ones are the 2 characters you unlock through Yamcha game, and Yamcha's Yamcha, so that's annoying by default.
Considering that's random for picking up the difficulty. I only just recently unlocked Fasha from it. I still don't have fucking Kichichi. Goddamn.
That's another thing that kind of annoys me is that goes for games in the series as a whole. They have the characters you would expect and some that you wouldn't, but the ones you wouldn't are not there in their proper form. Kid Chi-Chi never fought in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
The only form of Chi-Chi that did fight is Adult Chi-Chi, where she fought Goku in the 23rd, I think, martial arts tournament when the fight to decide whether or not they would get married.
Yeah, true.
And even though she lost, they got married anyways. That form of Chi-Chi has only been in one game ever. Super Dragon Ball Z, and that game tanked.
Oh yeah, Super Dragon Ball Z. That was also, I don't know why that game tanked. I think it's because it was kind of just like completely out of left field. Also, probably had bad marketing behind it. I'm not sure.
That, as well as the fact it went completely under the radar, but it failed in both senses as a Dragon Ball Z game, a 3D game, and as a traditional game, because it was trying to be Street Fighter, but it didn't work as Street Fighter.
It did have a short-lived following in tournament scenes, but that was about it. Really, you're
only in Japan, though. It did not carry.
Yeah, you're not really going to get a successful game just off of a small tournament scene.
The arcade version of the game didn't even come out in America.
Ah, shit.
But I think that's probably a given because none of the other arcade games have come out.
While we're on the subject of Super Dragon Ball Z, I just learned this recently. Apparently, in that game, when you're playing as Trunks, you can just, for like his final upgrade, you can have him with a sword, but you could equip him with either A, a lightsaber, or B, a katana for his final item. I'm not kidding.
I would have thought Tapion sword would have been enough, but that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, right? I almost thought the idea of giving Trunks a new sword would be pretty cool.
Or better, no wait, the Z sword.
Ooh, now you're talking.
Yeah, that's actually a good point to bring up too, is that equipable items for characters that fight with weapons or something.
Totally should get upgrades, but I think that'd make him a little unbalanced compared to the rest, unless you find a way to balance that. Like a good way I can think of as an example.
No, for example, like regular weapons and upgrades and stuff like in Dissidia, where every character has different weapons at different levels.
But they don't really necessarily appear on the characters themselves.
That was one of the things that kind of annoyed me about that is that your character just has their base weapon, invisible combat, and when they finally went into their EX mode, then they turned into their limit break weapon.
Yeah, but then again, considering some of the characters can equip what was it, a black hole as a weapon? No, thank you. Also, the idea of being able to equip someone with the ability to wield guns and then having Sephiroth running around with a giant ass gun. No, thank you. He's got a big enough sword. I don't want him carrying around a fucking railgun. Thank you very much.
Hey, I want Tekken's customization in here. I want to fight as Alyssa with her buzzsaws and then pull out a plasma rifle.
Well,
I actually
put it
do that.
That'd be pretty cool.
No, that's actually how I have Alyssa set up in one of her costumes. Is
how you can have like a giant laser buzzsaw on her back. I love that item. You just can't really.
Her regular arm buzzsaws, the cannon, the plasma rifle, and a couple swords.
You tap into your inner fear down there.
Yes.
Cool.
But so yeah, characters who have or use things. Make them be able to equip stuff. Like, for example, give Goku the power pole or something.
Yeah.
He has not used that, like, once past Dead Zone.
He hasn't used that. Actually, he's never used it in Z outside of the movies.
Yep, just Dead Zone.
Yeah, just Dead Zone. Which was already pre-DBZ anyway.
And he not even, like, he passed on Nimbus to Gohan. He should have passed on the power pole, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, he didn't even necessarily pass it on to Gohan. Gohan never used it outside of the intro.
He used it a couple times. Like, I mean, he used it for going to high school and in...
I forgot about that. Jesus Christ, I need to catch up on that arc. Because him going to high school arc was actually pretty fucking funny. Did the video arc come up when I was speculating what it would be like if 23-year-olds could go to high school?
23. Yeah, that was fucking stupid. He's 11, 12 tops.
Yeah.
Definitely
I have heard from multiple sources that he was either 12 or 15. I've heard a lot of conflicting information.
No way in hell, because I have this set to a mathematic equation where from the beginning of Dragon Ball to the end of GT/the GT movie, Goku is about 159 or 60 some odd years old.
How old does that make fucking Vegeta?
I'd say probably about 15 years older than him, maybe.
Ooh. So Vegeta,
15
Virginia is almost 200 years old, and he looks that good. Fuck, I wish I was a fan.
But I mean about the GT movie. What was that called?
GT movie. Hero's Legacy, which was technically.
You know the one with the that was trying to be a return to Dragon Ball but failed so horribly. The one with the Goku Jr. God, that was so stupid.
And then it just randomly had Goku appear at the end. I was like, "You're not going anywhere with this fucking movie. Why do you have this?" It was just really bad to look at too. The art style wasn't very good, and the soundtrack was god awful.
Yeah,
well, then again, it was kind of GT anyway. I had this conversation recently with Koi18 on YouTube, who releases unreleased Funimation tracks.
I think so.
I was having a conversation. I don't know if it was him or someone else on there, but I know Super Android 13's soundtrack sounds a lot like Dragon Ball GT. So I posed a question: was this the same guy who made it? And they were like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same dude because he's doing the same instruments and the same talent." I was like, "Well, I'm certain he's a really good artist, but he needs to use something other than drums and really low key guitars." Seriously.
Would you rather have Revenge of Cooler's use of Disturbed?
Yes.
God damn it, Bob.
What? The game by Disturbed is really fucking cool.
I'm amazed they managed to get away with something like that.
Advertising for Disturbed, no doubt.
No, but not even that, because I'm pretty sure the game is one of their more explicit songs.
They really did edit the shit out of it for the movie.
I can't wait to see a kids anime use Down with the Sickness.
Oh my god, that'd be so cool.
Don't worry, don't hit me again. Stop it,
Did
mommy.
I ever tell you I knew this guy who I was on a film shoot once? Who was singing "Down with the Sickness" in a Jamaican accent. You motherfucker got up. Come on, get down with the sickness. Oh my god, it was so fucking funny. We're getting so off topic right now, but I'm almost done. I only have like 2 points to hit left, and then I'm done. The next one being the roster. The roster should honestly be some. You don't have to have a large roster to make a really good DBZ game. Like, I think if you kept the cap at like what Tenkaichi 2 had with like 120 characters covering the majority of the stuff, you're good. You don't need to go into the territory of like Kid Chi-Chi, fucking pedophile Nazi. You don't need.
That was
That's funny, but it's not necessary.
General Blue was hilarious, and I think it's good to expand on the characters from the original Dragon Ball who were important, because General Blue was actually an important character.
Oh, and I forgot this one. This is including transformations. Check your audio. I can hear myself on your end.
That's because I have an actual set of speakers.
Okay, I'll do it.
Am I coming out so well?
Yeah, you're still coming in well. Alright, so what do you need?
Right.
Fucking Goku in Tenkaichi 3. I haven't done this yet, but I'm gonna count. Goku early, Goku mid, Goku Super Saiyan mid, Goku base late, Goku base super, Goku late Super Saiyan, Goku late Super Saiyan 2, Goku late Super Saiyan 3, Goku Super Saiyan Kid, Goku Super Saiyan 3 Kid, Goku Super Saiyan 4. That's 10 fucking forms of Goku I just counted on my hands.
Kid Goku.
Kid Goku 2, that's 11. You have 11 different playable versions of Goku playable in fucking Tenkaichi 3. You don't need that many.
And yet, it's still better than Naruto and Storm 3. All of the DLC costumes and forms count as their own separate characters.
Oh, that's
yes.
equivocable. Holy fuck. Damn.
No, they're all the same character, but they count as their own separate character. So there's literally about 12 Narutos.
Never mind. Well, at least with Raging Blast 1, and I absolutely love Raging Blast 1 for this, they kind of incorporate all the themes that made Goku into one form, and you can customize any super on him you want. And I think that's what made it really solid. Like, I said you don't have to have a sizable roster, but you can't condense a lot of things about characters into one package, so you can make it really cool. Like,
yeah.
I kind of want to say, with Vegeta, you can just fuse regular Vegeta, Scouter Vegeta, and Vegeta second form into one character, and just be able to swap out his supers for different things. Hold up a sec.
The Raging Blast did that with the exception of Scouter Vegeta.
They did? Huh. Hold on a sec.
Yeah, Scouter Vegeta was still his own separate character, but I think that was more for costume purposes. Like, the only reason to keep them separate that would make sense would be for Grade 8 Vegeta, which they didn't have, so... Hello? You still there? Okay, I guess he's gone. But so, aside from transformations that are super situational, they should put all the characters back into single forms. How I feel about it, though, for the roster as a whole, is that, yeah, I prefer what they did with Tenkaichi 3 for the most part in terms of other characters, where they got characters from fucking everywhere. You got your General Blue, your Devil Man.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Devil Man is hilarious. It's called Bad End.
Your eyelids are getting heavy. Ooh.
Your Android 8, your etc. I think they need to go back. Yeah. Problem I have with a lot of the recent games is that they focus only on Z and Z only. And I have a problem with that with games titled Dragon Ball Raging Blast. It's fine if you take out GT, but if you're going to call it Ball and not Z, you need to have the Ball characters.
By this point, they realized that only Z was selling anything. That's why I have advertising the shit out of it. Even though
Tenkaichi 3 was the highest selling game that they've had in a long time, and highest critically rated, and it had the most Dragon Ball characters ever.
Yeah. Well, I think as of the HD console generation, the only thing GT has ever gotten for representation was Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Omega Shenron playable in Ultimate Tenkaichi. That's about it.
Didn't they have Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta?
Nope.
They didn't?
Only Gogeta.
Serious?
Yeah, right.
God damn. How do you fuck that up?
They found a way.
Well, I suppose it's not entirely impossible, considering they have Gotenk Super Saiyan 3 only, without Goten or Trunks.
Really now? Wait.
Yes.
Just Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. No base form or anything like that?
I think so, yeah.
Really nice, but holy shit. Ultimate Tenkaichi really did neuter the fuck out of the roster. No, I said they don't need a sizable roster, but they don't need to cut back on it that much. Jesus. Like, keep all the movie characters in there. Don't just have Broly as the only movie character in there.
Outside of Tenkaichi 3, I say the closest to perfect roster, with still some minor issues, was Raging Blast 2. Because it had an even 100, and it had all the ones you wanted, with most of the good movie characters.
I don't know. I was gonna say having Cooler's Armored Squadron in there was kind of overkill, but at the same time, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
But again,
I'm surprised they haven't taken that further with other ones, like for example, having all of Bojack's minions, like outside of Zangia.
Minions who are named after food toppings, which was in the original dub too. I'm not kidding.
Well, are we talking Dead Zone, or are we talking the Garlic Jr. saga? Because in the Garlic Jr. saga, one of his men is named Kachu.
We should have Dragon Ball Z Mooks edition. Because if you are, I'm totally down for this. That'd be fucking cool. Dragon Ball Z Battle of Mooks. Crony Carnage. Yeah, I'd buy it.
I totally want a game with Frieza Soldier 48.
Or just generic Frieza Soldier who just football tackles everyone. That's what you need. Entire game based off Frieza Soldier football tackling everyone. It'd be like Captain Falcon and Falcon Punches colliding, but just football tackles colliding with each other. You have a beam struggle with football tackles.
You can have a beta build for Dragon Ball Z Madden right there.
That would make a hell of a game. Man.
No, wait. Not football. I want to see Dragon Ball Z Foosball.
Dragon Ball Z Foosball. Is Majin Buu the ball? Sweet.
Yes. Dragon Ball Z Foosball with Majin Buu or the Dragon Balls or something, and all the characters forcibly stuck with their hands out and then doing some hilarious kick or something that's supposed to go through the other characters but goes through the wall itself.
Just giving free ammunition to the modding community. They should really listen to this podcast all the way through.
Yeah. But for the character roster, it needs to be expanded but done correctly. All the characters that you truly want without the fodder, realistically without the Frieza Soldier 2. And the funny thing about Frieza Soldier 2 was that if you swap his costumes, he's literally a different character in each costume.
Oh, you can?
Like, he's a blue guy, the first one, and then the second one, he's like some orange guy.
Experiment with that. Can we legitimately cut out Kui and he won't be missed?
Yeah, that's another one of those ones that you cut out. They have no need there. And if I'm being completely honest, the Ginyu Force is debatable as well.
Yeah, basically, because outside of Raccoon and Ginyu himself, they don't really do anything. Goldo himself is already questionable. Sabrina Kai, just going off the psychic characters in general, Sabrina Kai, I don't think needs to be playable. Although, well, he only does like one thing against Majin Buu, and that fails. Outside of that, he's only really known for a really cool instant transmission, and that's it. Goldo, you can cut him out, and no one will miss him at all. Jiaozu is a staple, but I guess he kind of needs to be in there to, represent.
For the sake of having a psychic. For the sake of having at least one psychic.
I think we can omit Babidi.
I liked Babidi.
Having other people do attacks for him.
But I think if they're going to do that, they need to merge Babidi and Spopovich and all of Babidi's minions together.
One frightening collection. Mega Bobbity. It's a giant
Like,
Megazord.
like
made
Bobbity
out of minions.
appears.
Mookzilla.
Like Bobbity appearing.
Sorry.
Like I think it would work kind of like Puppet Masters in Naruto, where you have the main guy just Bobbity just standing there, and then each combo is like a different minion that appears out of nowhere, and then all of them doing something special for their
That's just
ultimate.
begging to have instant transmission be the only way to actually fight him, or beams. Actually, shit. I just realized if you had Dragon Ball Z characters, or just the moves themselves in the Storm series, you can just Kamehameha way through all the puppets and you'd be done. God damn, I wish I thought of that sooner. Oh well.
If only. Hey, you never know. We got Lars in Storm
yeah,
too, so
now you actually have some context for Lars being in the game.
which reminds me, actually,
That
was
Lars
Lars
in Storm 2 is
it actually in
It is, yeah.
Tekken 6? Is it possible to get it in Tekken Tag Tournament 2?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because I feel like if it it totally should be for the sake of having everything ever. But I can understand that being game exclusive for the situation that Kishimoto worked directly on Tekken 6.
But there's also the thing where like Tekken in the past I've noticed has had this like huge advertisement support going for like UFC. I don't know why, but like characters like King, Armor King, I think Brian every now and then have
They're boxers.
Well, that's still like direct support from other companies. So like I think Tekken kind of likens itself to being in the same realm as Soul Calibur with like representing other things to endorse them and to get more popular that way. I could be wrong about that, but I'm not too sure.
Maybe.
But yeah, what was I about to say? Yeah, Tekken has had Naruto worked on it. Like I think Tekken 6 and Storm 2 were kind of like a collaboration between Kishimoto and whoever the hell was it that made Tekken. I forget.
Katsushiro Hirata.
Why, thank you. I was like, I fought this fucker so many times in Soul Calibur 5. I don't remember his name. Oh yeah, that was it. Hirata.
You know, it's still hilarious in hindsight to think that there is a Tekken character, Netunia.
Oh yeah, that.
A hybrid of Jin, Asuka, Lars, and I think Kazuya.
So weird, but that's so cool at the same time. You got all your you got all the classic characters and all the new characters in there. Although I'd consider Jin more middle ground because he first got in like Tekken 3. Year 3 or 4, I don't remember which. Yeah.
3. Although I'm not sure how much I like him as a main
I
character.
find him kind of dry, although he certainly becomes more like a villain in Tekken 6. Because he's ahead of the Mishima Zaibatsu and like deliberately brings shit to the world.
If we're being technical, all of the main characters are boring in one form or another.
Kazooie is actually a really good character. Because it's because he was originally the good guy, they became a bad guy, and he keeps flipping.
I want to save this off topic for another day, but I kind of want to go into it now. I have an off topic I've been thinking about for a couple hours / a couple weeks that I want to get into, but I'm not sure.
5 minutes into it.
Mostly because
We can drop 5 minutes into it.
So I watched through Spoonie. I watched Tekken the Motion Picture and some of the other
that
Tekken
on
stuff.
YouTube. I watched it. It's terrible, but
Is it half an hour or is it a full hour and a half? Wow. But so I know some of the stuff and from the story, but so Heihachi is a douche to his son, correct? If Heihachi is a douche to Kazuyo, then in a writing style sense, it makes sense that he would want to get revenge on his father, who treated him like shit. Correct? Being that the father treated him like shit, he wanted to get revenge on him. Wouldn't it be more natural for him to be kind and loving to his son, rather than to pass on the motives of his father onto his son, to want to kill him to gain immortal power through the devil gene, thus forcing his son to work with his father to kill him? It seems like he fucked up big time. And I know what I'm saying is probably wrong because I don't know anything about the individual games, but it seems like Kazuya is probably one of the dumbest characters in all of existence just for me saying what I don't know about him.
Yes and...
Am I correct or incorrect?
Because there's this what I'm about to say is probably gonna seem really fucking stupid out of context, but Kazuya actually died at the end of Tekken 3, I think, because what happened? Kazuya beat Heihachi at the end of the first tournament. Then Heihachi, well, actually, funny story about that. I think he threw him off the same cliff that Heihachi threw him down when he was a child. So it was kind of like just desserts. So then Tekken 2, Heihachi actually beats Kazuya because he's like distracted by his love for June at the time. So, and the funny thing is, I'm not kidding. Fucking Heihachi throws Kazuya down a volcano. This happens. But then Tekken 3 happens. I don't think he was in there at the time. I think he was absent.
Kazuya was the only time Kazuya was not in a Tekken game.
That was when Jin got introduced. He was a disciple of Heihachi. At the end of that, Heihachi, of course, backstabbed Jin. So on his quest for power, I forget why. I think it's because it had to do with Ogre at the time. Tekken 4. This is where it gets weird. Bear with me. Mishima Zaibatsu has one competitor called the G Corporation, and in order to get an edge on Mishima Zaibatsu, they, I kid you not, resurrect Kazuya and have him work with them. Yes.
God damn it.
It's weird because Tekken has had legitimate like good writers in the past, like in Tekken 4. I know I just said Tekken 4 is the same game where they resurrected Kazuya, but at the same time they did some kind of cool shit in there. But at the same time, Tekken doesn't always have the most stable plot. Like Tekken 5, nothing of note happens. Well, then again, a lot of Namco games are infamous for that. You're not really sure what the fuck happens until the game later.
You think it would have been more interesting to find out about more of the Kazamas?
Well, I don't think I mentioned this to you yet, but I did mention I'm going to Let's Play a grand majority of the Tekken games, or at least the ones that have story modes.
Do you have them?
Tekken Tag 2, I had Tekken 6, but I can still play that. I have Tekken 5, I have... Josh was going to give me Tekken Tag Tournament 1. Tekken 4 has a story in it. Tekken 3, I think, does. So, yeah.
Good luck getting the first two.
They're PS1, so I can get those easily.
Yes, but you think with how old and how good they are, that they would be rare.
Tekken 5 has their arcade modes playable. Yeah, but just the arcade modes. Tekken 1, Tekken 2 don't really have anything of note outside of like Versus or arcade. Again, they're old school arcade games. Anyway, so back on the topic of DBZ. I don't think anyone's still following us anymore, but who gives a shit? So, covered the roster, covered everything else I think would be in the best DBZ game. Time for, of course, on my priority list, this is last, because it should be last in the game like this, the online mode. Alright, so all you need is...
Hold on. Huh? Back that up a bit with some other regular modes. Versus natural 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 5-on-5, etc. And if we're being... No, I don't think we need to be any more grandiose than that. There have never been any more than 5 people in a fight at one time in the actual Z, so you can cap out there. Versus arcade, bring back a Dragon Ball battle, give us a true decent-sized tournament. Because ever since Raging Blast 1, the tournament modes have only had 16 characters. Before that, you could have like 32, and I think in some games way back when, 60. I want to have a full 64 or 32 player tournament mode because in Blast 1 and 2, they are over too quickly.
Yeah, that's true. They do look pretty. The tournament does look pretty cool in Raging Blast 2, but that's about it. That's all it has.
Yeah. Like in 2, that's one of the only things that keeps me bringing back to it after I finish the story after 2 years of not touching it. Was the tournament mode, and every time it would be over in like 10 minutes.
The AI being too easy.
No, but but what I like though is that bring back the tournament mode settings because the tournament settings had some nice options for it.
The tournament announcers brought back as well. Hell yes.
Yeah, but saga specific characters only. This type of character only, Saiyans only, humans only, androids only, etc. this season only, things like that. In addition to Super Tournament, where you fight the previous champion with super
Ooh, cool.
buffed AI, and with my official favorite, uh, team tournament, where you start out as one character, and after each sequential character you beat, you add a character to your team. So you start out with one, and in the final battle of the tournament, you have four characters
Four
with
other
you
characters?
as a team.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was really fun. That's like the only way to
Yeah,
make
that's
it
pretty
last
cool.
long. So give more options like that. Bring back Dragon Ball Battle. I want to say for some reason add in that little beat 'em up you were talking about, like make that a
Yeah,
side
I think
mode.
that could be definitely work.
Or better yet, actually, is have multiple enemies at once. Like for example, like make it truly feel like DBZ. Have Goku fight three members of the Ginyu Force all
Ooh,
at
nice.
once or something. Have Gohan fight all the Cell Juniors at once.
Shit.
Something like that, etc. Trunks versus Mecha Frieza and King Cold at the same time, things like that, etc.
Yeah.
And the same thing, for story mode. Like for example, you're one guy against three people. Have it be like that. Fight three people at
Yeah.
once, etc. Even if you're the villain, or be the villain with three guys fighting against one person. Despite how short that would be.
Yeah, but still, that'd be pretty. That'd be pretty nifty to look at and do. I think it'd be pretty sick.
Let's see what else is there.
I don't think we really need to cover essential game modes. In terms of just like that.
Ghost, time attack, survival.
One
Oh
more
yeah,
thing.
it's really.
Ability to save replays and ability to export replays. Fuck yeah, do it.
Yes.
Stadia had it. It was a godsend, and a lot of people posted it on YouTube they couldn't post before. Hell yes.
All the Raging Blasts in Tenkaichi 3 had it.
No, Tenkaichi 3 doesn't let you do it unless you're doing versus. Sadly.
Yeah, that's the
Does
one
Raging
annoying
Blast
thing,
1
though.
let you export save clips?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, well, not as video files, but as save pieces
No,
of save
close
data,
enough, I suppose.
which you can view at any time, so that's good. The only thing that's mildly annoying about Tenkaichi 3 is that you can only have 5 at a time.
That is really dumb.
Yeah, in the other games, in the PS3 games, you're limited literally by the space of your hard drive. And since those video files for an HD game are literally just a couple hundred kilobytes, you can have trillions of them.
Yeah, it's good.
Replays, etc., tournaments, survival,
Really just a
team,
whole bunch of
etc.
small stuff that. Oh shit! Brain Scratch is doing injustice. Anyway, really just a whole bunch of stuff like that. Small shit that really adds up to a really good experience overall.
I want unorthodox mini games. I want Goku and Piccolo driving.
Oh my god, dude! You could totally have that as a loading screen. You have like a wide
I want it
road
as a
and they're,
full-on
like,
mini
steering
game.
alongside it, trying to like avoid hitting anyone.
I want that as a
Oh my
full-on
God,
mini
it's
game.
Sweet. It's like one of those old, really bad 3D games that came out and like that have Virtua Fighter graphics. That'd be sick. It's just driving alongside the beach and avoid everyone. That'd be sweet.
Who's the fastest character in the
Fastest
series? I mean, outside of
Well,
Birder.
it's not Birder. Like we've already established, Frieza is faster, and like Jace was asking, Gogeta.
Wasn't it thinking like a realistic like tag mode? Tag the character, chase them down, or chase down Icarus or something. Or maybe in a more believable sense, chase down mode for characters that actually run away, like Android 20 runs away from Vegeta and all of them, so try to actually chase them down.
Sweet,
Something
that'd
like
be cool.
that. Like, I'm really scraping the back of my mind
we
for
don't
this.
have to dig too deep on it. I mean, this is just like a kind of like a general inclusion of stuff that we think of off the top of our heads.
What I think would be perfectly ideal, and the sad thing is this would have to be if ever done, would have to be, of course, on next gen, but have the PlayStation Eye or Kinect 2.0 with the QR scan mode, where, like, for example, scan a picture of a character from anything, and it will create a model of that character with any attacks that you want to put on there from existing attacks.
I never thought of that.
That would be awesome.
Sounds weird, but I think that could work, possibly.
Or, like, for example, in the most fitting thing of all, Jin Kazama, or Devil Jin Kazama, firing Kamehamehas out of his fucking eyes.
Seems legit.
Because I swear, some of those things he fires out of his face come out of his eyes.
They kind of come out like the jewel on his forehead.
And I think he has some mouth beams, too.
No mouth beams. Although that would be pretty fucking cool. Yeah, so, while you're thinking of more stuff, I'm going to go ahead and just cover online mode quickly. There's not really a lot I can think of to put in there, outside of what has already been done, like Tekken or Soul Calibur. Just include ranked matches, lobbies, player matches, have tournaments in there. I think there was the Mo Global Coliseum that was in Soul Calibur 5. It was a pretty cool idea where you just freely fight anyone who's, like, on, board. You can just, like, go up to them and be like, hey, you want to fight? Sure, why not? I think that's a really cool idea, and I think they could build on it greatly. But
oh no, wait, hold on. I have another idea. Not just annoying menus. Have an actual online hub world. Be able to talk to people outside of fights. Like, for example, have a player avatar. Be able to talk to people. Have, like, a PlayStation Home or something where you have, like, all the people that are currently online in one place. Assuming that they're still there and their model and their avatar isn't disappeared, they're not in battle. You can talk to anyone who's there and fight them, like, right there on the spot.
Cool.
Think about the size of a game like that, though.
But considering the kind of technical fidelity we're dealing with in the next generation of consoles, I think it's doable.
Yeah, but
I mean, all you're really doing that is you have a pre-rendered 3D background with 3D characters inside of it, and then when two people want to fight, they select a stage, and then it just loads the fight there, and it's good.
Yeah. Again, it also depends on graphic quality, too.
Yeah, true.
Because from what I've seen of next gen, I'm not exactly impressed.
People have said, put on record multiple times, that the next generation of console isn't necessarily going to be the biggest leap, like, between a PS2 and a PS3. It's just going to be ramping up the graphics a little bit to a more high def look. It's really just making it more powerful. That's all that's really being done.
PS3 was not that much prettier than PS2 at launch, considering the games that were out there. I mean, I'd still say that at the time, Final Fantasy XII looked better than most PS3 games coming out of 2007.
But you also have to consider that PS3 didn't have the best launch known to mankind. And there's also the fact that it's more has to do with each individual console launch in general. Like, the PS2, when it launched, still had games that looked like really shitty PS1 games. And then the PS3 launched, still had really subpar PS2.
Well, hold on, though. The PS2 launched, or was pretty damn close to launch, with Final Fantasy X.
I'm talking about, like, just general games that came out that aren't fun. Didn't have Square Enix's budget. And I say didn't have because Square Enix is kind of lacking that budget right now.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider did make money, you assholes.
What?
Tomb Raider did make a profit, you fucks.
The problem is that it didn't make money. The problem is that they thought that they would be able to ride that one game to make their usual yearly profit of $6 billion. It only got them halfway. And for one game, that's still a shit ton, but they thought they would be able to ride that one game all the way.
It sold like 4 million copies. I'd say it sold pretty well.
Yeah.
Problem is, Square Enix doesn't know how to restrain themselves when it comes to spending money on a game.
The thing, though, is that they didn't produce Tomb Raider. They just published it, along with Hitman and some other things.
They did help finance some of it, though.
Yeah, like, they paid for some of it, but they didn't actually do anything on it. Like, in the same way with a lot of those really crappy video game anime that have come out, anime movies that have come out in the last couple of years, like Mass Effect and Dead Space. Funimation financed those games entirely. They would not, or games, those anime movies, they would not have come out otherwise.
Yeah.
Which, frankly, I think was unnecessary because they both sucked.
Did you check them out?
I saw the Mass Effect movie. Ugh.
I didn't bother.
Ugh. Don't. I don't even know
Frankly,
about...
I can't look at Mass Effect anymore without thinking Mass Effect poop and laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
Which is gonna make me playing through Mass Effect 3 hilarious because I can't stop thinking about
Have
it.
you played the first two?
I played Mass Effect 2. I haven't played 1.
Huh. You know you can get all three of them in a trilogy for $30 right now.
About damn time.
No, I think that's been out since like last June, like June of last year. Where you could get all three games in a collection of $40. Kind of the same way with the God of War Complete Collection, where you get one and 2 Chains of Olympus and Ghosts of Sparta for like $30-$40.
Nice. Wow, I wished for a lot louder than I thought I would. I already own God of War 1 and 2. Those games they're alright. They're pretty cool. 3 was where it's at, though. Anyway, that's God of War. Finishing up on the Dragon Ball Z thing. I don't really have a lot to talk about the online stuff, besides what you just mentioned was actually a really cool idea. So, the conclusion I can basically make off of all this is, a Dragon Ball Z fighting game that is just a rework at its core for the engine, a reworked Tenkaichi 3 that borrows models from Raging Blast 1, the graphical effects of Raging Blast 2 with all the stuff that went on in it, an overworld that borrows themes from Tenkaichi 2, Budokai 3, and Infinite World, and some stuff from Ultra Tenkaichi, maybe. Soundtrack that's wide and varied, that's like kind of on par with Budokai 3, and being able to customize it as any way you see fit, as much content as humanly possible. Well, I say that even though you still want a well-balanced roster instead of just like 1.5 million fucking characters. And it's all online. That's always nice too, I suppose.
A fully competent online, not one that's going to die or stop being supported after a year or two.
Yeah, basically.
Turns?
That's really all I got. Hey, does Budokai HD have online support?
Sadly, no.
Aw, that would have been awesome. Even though everyone would just pick Omega Shenron at that point.
He's actually not that good as you would think.
I don't know, man.
He's not from what I remember.
He's got all max energy bars all the time.
He does.
He does.
Well, so do the fusions.
Only Vegito. Other than that, the rest are on time limits.
Forgot about that.
Yep.
I'm so spoiled by having played the Go Tanks Gogeta fight 8,000 times, because in that fight, you're fully maxed forever.
Yeah, and also there's the fact that, wait, does Challengers play in that fight?
The song?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That sucks. I thought it did, but...
Because that was on a tournament level.
Yeah, that's true. It was either the intro song or it was Challengers. I swear to God, Challengers is like so hard for me to actually find in Budokai 3. It plays like every once or twice, but that's about it. Other than that, you can like replay Budokai 2 and it's always on the fucking snow level, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Interactive environments, not just destructible levels, because after a while that gets kind of annoying. If you smash a character into a building, I want to see the inside of that building. Kind of like how in Wrath of the Dragon, when Hirudegarn tail bitch slapped Vegeta into a building, and he fell inside the office building, and the people asked him if he was okay, and then he got pissed off and powered up and destroyed them.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Even when we redeem him as a character, he's still an asshole.
Also, maybe things like destroying a building and having little tiny drawings of characters running out or being exploded.
That'd be cool.
Or explosion effects on buildings.
Well, I don't think there's ever time you actually legitimately play in a city. No way, that's in Raging Blast 1 and 2. I was about to say, I don't think there's instances of actually playing in a city level that's populated, but then Raging Blast 1. Oops. Well, I don't know. I think that if that's in the future setting, then I don't think anyone's gonna be around.
By the way, yet to be decided, GT characters or no? And if so, just the 3 main villains or expanded further?
Oh, hell no, definitely bringing GT characters. As a matter of fact, I wanted to elaborate on the story of GT also.
Do you want them to have, like, an adventure mode of the traveling through space? Because a lot of that was episodic bullshit. Which is kind of why when Toonami...
How much longer are we going to have to wait until we can play as General Rule, though?
Yeah, well, there were a few of them that were decently strong, but for the most part, everyone there was episodic and shit.
The crazy giant baby robot thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing was weird. Yeah, there are a few things I can imagine that would be pretty cool to play as. Although, I can't imagine playing as Dr. Mew would be particularly interesting.
I would like to see it being able to fight as a non-armored Emperor Pilaf.
Can he even fly?
No.
Can he do anything?
He has some fighting attacks.
Like...
I don't know. He was only in... He only ever fought in, like, the first arc of Dragon Ball.
Shit.
I mean, he appeared in GT that one time, but he made his wish, and I think he fell off the tower.
Ouch. Ah, well, technical difficulties.
But let's see. I'd like to see 2 different Android 17s.
I think at that point they're just palette swaps of each other, though. One with a jacket and one without.
That's what we already have, but they did somewhat kind of fight differently, and it would give 17 an excuse to have something besides either the Axel dance or just the shitty random beam attack.
Yeah, true.
Photon blast.
Cooler is if there was an actual fusion where you play as 2 Android 17s and you can combine them into it, so it's like a fusion of sorts.
Yeah, like that.
That'd be cool.
Have them be separate characters, and then have them be able to fuse into it, or have it be able to pick as just Super Android 17. And this would require a lot on the game's part, without just reusing stock attacks, but fully fleshed out all 7 dragons.
It could work. You know, I just realized there were technically 3 different Android 17s.
Fusion? Future. Future.
The Bolt. Yeah, Future 17. The 17 from the present, and the 17 that was made by Dr. Mew and Dr. Shiro in Otherworld. Shit. They really like that model.
If we're being technical, there are more Gohans than Gokus.
Define more Gohans than Gokus. We're talking about, like...
Not Tenkaichi 3, I mean in, like, any game.
Kid Gohan... oh, yeah, that's right. Well, that's because they all play differently.
Yeah.
Like, the reason you play as Kid Goku, or Kid Gohan is... Well, actually, I can't imagine why you want to play as Kid Gohan to begin with. Yeah, you pretty much just play as Teen Gohan for Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. That's really the only reason why.
Yeah.
And then... Well, I don't know why you want to use regular adult Gohan when you can just have Ultimate Gohan.
Yeah. Which reminds me, actually, you are going to Taiyokan this time. No ands, ifs, or buts.
I'm going to what?
Taiyokan.
Oh, Taiyokan, yeah.
And do you know why?
I have money for... Why?
I'm pretty sure it would be easy for you to, between now and January, procure $40.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Kyle Abear is going to Taiyokan.
Who? Oh, Kyle Hebert, yeah.
Kamina, Gohan, Aizen, I'm not here to beat you, I'm here to kill you.
Oh my god, this is gonna be sweet.
You are going. Additionally, we have Rukia, Yoko, etc.
Who voiced Rukia again? Or, not Rukia, Yoko?
Michelle Ruff.
Oh yeah. Sweet.
So yeah, you're going.
Anyone else going that's noteworthy?
Not yet that we know of, but there's some people still likely to announce because there's 2 months left, and they generally tend to get a lot of their last-minute announcements in the last month beforehand. Like Taiyokan 2012, they announced Patrick Seitz and Chris Sabat like 2 weeks before the date.
Damn.
So yeah, there's always more to come.
Oh yeah, always.
But so yeah, I was going to surprise you with a recording of him saying that after the fact, but I figured it would be easier for you to just come with us.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Oh my god, this is gonna be sweet.
Maybe get some game lines while you're at it.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Hmm.
And then suddenly Steve Bloom shows up out of nowhere and I die of happiness.
I've put out the request for David Vincent.
Which one was David Vincent again?
Grimjow.
Oh, shit. You threw him a request. I'm just turning into a giddy little schoolgirl right now. Son of a bitch. Woo! Yeah, so I think that does it for this recording. If any of you guys have any suggestions for what would make a really cool DBZ game, or just any themes in general, or just want to see anything remade in HD or whatever, leave it down in the comments. However, I don't think I'll be able to see it because YouTube just decided to change their fucking comment section.
Well, no, they.
Son of a bitch.
You know, no, with the new bell thing now, you can go to bed and wake up and have the thing so you just got 4 new comments right on the home page.
I hope that's what it's going to do. I've seen some comments where I can't reply to it whatsoever, but others I can. I'm like, this is so fucking weird.
It could be worse. After all, they did remove the video reply or video response.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was dumb.
That was pretty dumb.
Honestly, the only thing I don't like about the new system, aside from having to change the annoying new menu, is like
you kind of have to have Google Plus in order to fucking make comments.
That, but also I can't, because the comment page doesn't exist anymore. I can't go back and look at old comments.
Really?
Yeah, they completely removed the comment page.
Oh man, that's so dumb.
Yeah.
No. So,
also,
I'm gonna head to bed.
Future Z games, every platform. Bring the Wii U back some love. Nintendo has had almost every Z game ever outside of the HD games.
Yeah, give people a reason to get a fucking Wii U. I mean, there's Bayonetta, which is coming out, which of course would mean I should get a Wii U at some point. But yeah, I think the DVD series really needs to elaborate on itself a little bit more. Like, actually, not do what Namco is doing recently, where they're trying a whole bunch of different things and none of them are working. But like, actually bring back a formula and then and expand on it like immensely.
Perfect it.
Yeah, because they've had a lot of things that have worked in the past. Hence why they decided to make Budokai HD Collection, because Budokai series did pretty well.
I'm amazed they didn't just jump into Budokai Tenkaichi HD.
I know, it's so weird.
But then I
haven't done that.
But then I think again about how the Budokai games are each inherently different. The Budokai HD or Tenkaichi games are all, in one manner of speaking or another, the same, at least in terms of gameplay.
So in that respect, you only have to make an HD collection with Tenkaichi 2 and 3.
If you want to get the better versions of it, I suppose so.
Yeah, basically, considering Tenkaichi 1 is basically just a bare bones version of Tenkaichi 2, from what I'm told.
It largely is. The only truly terrible thing about Tenkaichi 1 is that you can't transform in battle. You're locked into whatever form you pick in the menu.
Man, that is bad.
Yeah, which means in fights with base form, you're fucked.
However, in Shin Budokai 2, you can only select transformation, or you can only select one transformation to go into. So, like, if you're Goku and you select Super Saiyan 2, you can only go Super Saiyan 2, and that's only once you have enough energy for it.
If you have all of them unlocked, why would you stop at a lower level? And at the same time, I think that might be better, because in some cases, say you don't have all the energy you need, you would just end up transforming into a lower form, and then immediately trying to transform into the right one.
However, using a Super Spirit Bomb and then having Goku transform into like Super Saiyan 4 is really fucking cool.
Oh yeah, another thing that really gets me ever since Raging Blast 1, fully customizable attacks to wherever you want them to be. My favorite attack Goku has ever done is his Meteor Smash. The one where he goes, Kaioken turns red, does all the punches and kicks, and then flies up and then Kamehamehas them from the sky. That is one of my favorite and most pretty attacks he's ever had, and I want to be able to pick that as an ultimate, because damn it all, that should be an ultimate.
Wait, you can go Kaioken and then use Meteor Crash?
Yeah, because Kaioken is a Blast 1.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. That's actually pretty cool.
But say, I want to be able to put any attack in any slot, and to make that attack fit the slot, just make that attack do more damage. It's really all you need to do.
Yeah, I think I should have mentioned that earlier, how you can just go back to what Raging Blast 1 did, where you can select any super on any slot.
You can do that with Raging Blast 2 also, put any attack on any button. You're given a choice of either anywhere between 4 to 8 specials, depending on the character.
Yeah, at least.
And it depends on form. So for Goku, for example, you'll have like 20 attacks at least.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's a good estimate of it.
But then you have the ones that can only be put to certain forms. Which I guess is fitting, but also kind of annoying. But I feel like there should be more attacks. Like, you should be able to add some of the generic attacks to characters. Because I hate how every form of Super Saiyan Goku from Super Saiyan 1 on in Blast 2 has Warp Kamehameha.
It does?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's fitting, but that was kind of an ultimate of his.
Yeah, it's a Blast 2, and he only uses it once, but apparently now he can use it whenever in every form.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, if characters before had somewhat generic-looking attacks, give them some sort of special effect onto that attack. Like, for example...
I mean, if you can customize them freely, you have no excuse.
No, but I mean, like, not just being able to pick attacks, like, add a flair to that attack's visual. Like, for example, True Kamehameha to Super Saiyan 3 Goku looks generic as hell. You know what you want to do with that? You want to give him the Kamehameha that he used in the opening to Budokai 2, where he split the moon in half as Super Saiyan 3.
You know what'd be even cooler than that?
What?
The fucking weird Kamehameha with Shockwave he used against, I think it was Fat Boo, where it was like, it was kind of like an explosive Masenko, where it was like all spread out and had a bunch of electricity flying around it. I want to see that as a fucking B move.
I've not seen that, but that sounds awesome.
It's pretty fucking brutal. I do have to admit though, I like the idea of having a Super Saiyan 3 Goku's True Kamehameha wave. It's really cool, and he did do it against Kid Buu while I was rewatching the show.
I know, but I think if it's going to be the final one, or the true one, or the whatever the fuck you want to call it, it needs to have some sort of visual flair to differentiate it from a regular Super Kamehameha, which he already has in that form and in all of the other forms already anyways. You need something to make it look like an ultimate attack.
Cell has the Solar Kamehameha wave, but it doesn't look any different from the regular ones.
Case in point, have something to make it look better. Do the struggle properly with the weird wavy line that keeps moving back and forth the more they charge each other's energy.
That actually would be pretty cool. I always thought that if they were to give him that move, it should like turn purple because it's Cell dropping all of his energy into it.
Well, it could be green.
Could be. It could be Spirit Bomb.
You know, I want some context for him to actually use that. Like, I know they explain he can, but I want to see him actually do it at some point.
Yeah, considering he has to voluntarily get energy from all life sources, and I don't know about you, but I don't think anyone's gonna be willing to like, give Cell any life source anytime
I think he just steals it. I mean, it's not like he hasn't stolen energy before, am I right?
Yeah, true. I mean, it has been shown. The games have shown ways for him to absorb energy besides using his tail, like in Burst Limit, where he absorbs people's energy through his hand.
That is total bullshit, actually.
It completely is. He can use his tail in Shin Budokai 2, however. Like, he just randomly like throws it out and absorbs energy.
That's good.
Yeah.
Also, I want to see a return to the thing that happened one time ever in GT when he was fighting Goku in Hell. You know the thing.
Absorbed him? Yeah. That was weird.
That was also really total shit.
Yeah. Considering he should really not be able to use the tail after he absorbed Android 18, because that's not what he's designed for.
If he can spit kids out of it, I don't see why he can't suck things back up through it.
I still don't get what that's about, though. I'm going to spit out children. Yeah.
I gotta have an idea for it. 17 and 18, he needs a man and a woman to reproduce. So that's what they're doing in there when they're all sealed up.
Ooh.
But I don't think.
So that's why Android 18 was covered in white shit, which he gets spat out. So.
I'd like to remind you that's her twin brother.
Uh-huh.
And a tentacle monster.
And fan theories commence.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I think with that, I need to go to bed. I'm getting a headache from thinking about that and from being tired.
Alright. So want to cut it off here?
Alright. Yeah, I don't know when it's going to be uploaded. Probably tomorrow.
3 hours into this.
Uh-huh.
I think when you're going over this, and you should go over this a little, you should put text over like the beginning or something that highlights all of the individual things you were talking about.
I might just do that, yeah. Because I did just recap the entire thing at the end.
Alright.
Alright, later.
Alright. Peace.